look at that. I think we're back. Do we have audio, though? That's the question. That's always the question. Can anybody hear me?
We have audio.
Here we go.
Can anybody see me? Where's that from? Can everybody hear me? Can everybody see me?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Hi guys, how you doing?
So good.
Just so good after
good.
some fun. You know, it wouldn't be the Discord and Signal if we didn't have problems with the stream.
Yeah,
Aaron, it's from Harry Potter.
Foundry. It's from Harry Potter. Oh, that's right, because it's
Gilderoy
what's his face? Gilderoy Lockhart.
You just have Harry Potter quotes
everybody
ingrained in you.
See me?
Yeah.
Can everyone hear me? Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't be the Discord and Signal if we didn't have problems. So
maybe are we the Discord and Signal? Is that us?
Ooh.
It was us all along.
I
In
like
reality,
your
this is
heads
the whole
out
time.
here.
What a twist.
In reality, this is an ARG, and I just have like implanted
Oh my god.
a signal inside of Alex's server that's slowly degrading it over time.
Oh no.
That's what it feels like.
Jake, nice hat. Thank you.
Thank you. It's our
wonderful.
Christmas episode.
Christmas spirit. I don't have a Christmassy hat,
What?
sadly. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't.
here, if you want to come over, I have a Maryland Santa hat.
Oh shoot!
I technically already wore this one, so I can't wear it, but you could wear it.
The hat's
true.
pretty good.
That's
Not
true.
bad.
I mean, I'm wearing reddish. I'm wearing maroon. Does that count?
Reddish. Gosh.
It's
You
nice
got a
shirt,
nice
Caleb.
sweater or
Thank you,
shirt.
thank you.
That's good.
Yeah, this was for a Christmas in July party that never happened.
Oh.
Oh, there you go.
Here we are.
Actually, I think I have that shirt, but I'm not gonna go put it on right now. It's not. I gotta save it. I gotta save it for another time. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Discord and Signal, a multi-arc Starfinder adventure following the crew of the Indefatigable as they travel through the drift in search of, or merely stumbling upon by accident, a myriad of adventures. I'm Aaron, the GM, with the sole responsibility of killing off the characters, played by Abe,
Luna.
Alex.
Sproxa Envoy.
Oh, Sproxa Envoy. Alex.
Yes, sir. I feel like you're introducing backwards.
I'm just introducing.
felt-
You may to introduce it in like the character alphabetical order. Would that be
I'm
better?
just saying, like, you did say, like, oh, this, and also Ko played by Alex, and I'm like, hi.
Yeah.
all right. Let me try this again. I'm Aaron, the GM, with the sole responsibility of killing the characters, which are Ko, played by Alex.
Yo, what's up?
Is that better? Is that how you want me to do
You
that?
know what it was? It was the in charge of the characters played by Abe, and it's like the characters are all played by Abe. What's going on here? I thought I was playing
Yes.
this.
Oh,
right.
it felt
Fine.
weird.
Fine,
in
guys,
some
I'll
way.
rewrite it. All right, Ko
My
played
turn.
by Alex. We'll go with Luna played by Abe. Some bird sound. Insert bird sound. Yeah, there we go. Twick played by Caleb,
Oh, that's me.
and Lisk played by Jake.
Yo, what up? Let's
Yo,
do it.
what up? Last time on the Discord and Signal, the crew continued to follow through with their plans of hijacking the Relic. After determining what they assumed wrong, was the patrol route of several of the Relic's engineers, Ko, Lisk, Luna, and
Wow.
Twick rushed to the bridge to find the captain and several of his crew. Following a botched disarm attempt, sorry, Luna, it was a good attempt to get the weapon from the captain, but it didn't work. The crew of the Indefatigable had to make swift work of the Relic's crew before they notified any nearby Aslanti gunships. The last engineer, knowing what was at stake, tried to make it to the other communications console, but was sliced in half from top to bottom by Ko's solar weapon before he could re-engage the communication system. It's very, very gruesome, but incredible. I also wrote, the crew scoured the ship, turned it and its cargo over to Talmrin, received some sound advice on the prison moon of Gulta, and left the station in haste to find their friend, Sedona 17. We reinforce, she is your friend. I know we've had this question multiple times, but she is definitely your friend. Lisk actually stood back during a battle this time and let everyone else do the dirty work, which was kind of a first. Twick nearly killed Ko with a robot.
Nah, I wasn't that close.
I didn't even get to the good attack. Just saying. Ko air fried 2 engineers at once, which was cool.
Nice.
Maybe not even air frying. Maybe just like what's it called when you? Oh, flash fry. Flash fry. Maybe you flash fried them.
Flash fry, sure.
And then Luna had an envoy standoff with the captain.
Yes.
Fun. Plus,
That
You
was
guys
a
just
fun
get
time.
him each other. Like,
Yeah.
get him.
Get him.
Plus, all of you guys reached a level 4. So I thought before we did anything else, we would go over like what is the deal with your level 4 characters, what's changed, what you feel good about, bad about, indifferent about. Who wants to start this? Do we just go in the same order I went with first? Alex, you start. Tell me about your character. Let's do that.
okay.
What did you do? Anything new?
I got a new Solarian thingamabobber.
Thingamabobber, huh?
That's good.
That's pretty
Sounds
good.
cool. Sounds cool.
So the way Solarians work, if you take too many of one type of revelation, then it takes longer for you to get fully attuned. So you can't have you can't have 2 more of one type than the other. So I had to take a graviton thing this time.
Attunement.
Yeah. So I have dark matter,
Oh.
which is
Okay.
pretty good. It gives me some DR.
Can you also turn off the lights with it or something?
Yeah, if you say so. Yeah, it gives me some DR. It costs a move action. It's better if I'm attuned to graviton, which I'm probably not going to be like 99% of the time. So it's not the greatest thing ever, but it keeps me balanced.
Cool.
And then I caved to your stupid whims and learned a new language.
Speaking of which, I have a really interesting factoid to read about that when we get to after we're talking about level 4 characters, but we'll get there. Who was up next? Luna. How about you? What did you upgrade, Abe, with Luna? Change.
So I got a new improvisation, and I took understanding. I can use spell gems.
Nice.
And outside of that, pretty much your standard stuff. Skills. My fortitude save is still awful.
Still my
That's
only
okay.
good save.
My force save went up.
Nice. Very good. Okay. Did you learn any? Did you like come up with any new like songs or catchphrases just as a part of your enlightening as a character? Are you changing, evolving, molting?
Yes, I have some personal work to do. I'm doing a bad job at keeping up with her progression, but
Oh, pshaw. At least you have a character backstory.
I did get 2 languages though.
Hey, I have a backstory. It's just
Oh,
very
good.
small.
So I
cool.
took
Nice.
Aquan and Terran because we ran into some Terran folks.
Yeah.
You also did run into one Aquan person back on
Yep.
the contest, Madeline's Landing.
How did you get
She's
two?
been working on that. She's been working on that song, so she's got a handle on Aquan now.
I think
I
it's
should-
Roxa just get 2 for every point of culture,
Okay,
right?
I was making sure I shouldn't.
I
have
get
got two.
I get an extra for every other point in culture, essentially.
Like every other.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I have 9 now.
Nice. That's you're a well-spoken bird. Very well
Yes.
spoken. Twick. What's going on, Twick? Okay,
I got a new theorem this level. Actually, my
What-
first theorem. Yeah,
whatever
'cause
that
my-
means.
Well, my second level theorem was taken up by my medic archetype,
Ah,
whatever you call it. So I got my first theorem, and I picked up medication mastery, which lets me on the spot create analgesics, antitoxins, sedatives, antiemetics, and coagulants,
Mm.
and I can add them to my attacks.
okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Sounds very strong.
yeah.
Cool. Any new languages for you? Anything
Oh
else
yeah,
new?
I learned Terran also.
Oh, Taryn, of
Nice.
course.
I thought the only thing that's been relevant so far, that one.
Yeah. Good thing I'm about to make it irrelevant. Lisk! What
Perfect.
happened? What's going on with Lisk?
Yeah, so Lisk now has debilitating trick. If I actually manage to land my trick attack, they are either flat-footed or off target until the start of my next turn. So that's pretty cool. It's a fun little debuff if I manage to roll good twice in a row.
It's really good.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I also got a new exploit. My previous exploit being the if I decide who I'm trick attacking right away, I don't provoke from them. And now I can make holographic clones.
Excuse me?
Basically,
That's
once a day,
interesting.
I can cast a mirror image on myself. But it's,
But it's science.
it's
not-
But it's
holograms.
science.
Yeah, it's not magic.
Seems
It's
Right.
good.
science.
It's not magic. Why would we
It's
have somebody who
pretty
could use magic in this party?
Dude,
Guys.
I literally took a feat last level where I get a bonus against spells as long as I never get the ability to use spells. So I'm in it for the
Oh.
long haul,
That's very good. It's very good.
right?
Okay. Let's talk about a few things. Right off the top, we need to make some rolls. We forgot to make some rolls last session. We need to make some rolls this session. It's very, very important
Yeast
that we make
rolls
some some
dinner
yeast
rolls.
rolls. Yes, it's exactly right, Alex. How did you remember
Japanese
that?
milk bread rolls.
Totally.
Ooh.
What?
You guys okay?
Clearly not.
All right. If you remember, 2 people contracted Filth Fever from the Odejo pile.
I don't remember.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a fun dance.
Sounds made up.
Yeah. You guys both failed to save, so you were in the latent stage of Filth Fever.
Yeah.
So I think actually 2 days have happened. So I'm going to make you roll twice. You got to roll for the previous day. We'll just kind of retroactively call it you rolled for it, and then you got to roll for this current day, depending on what happens.
Can our resident doctor help at all? Or
Yeah. Do we have any help on these?
So maybe
maybe
I have to spend 8 hours assisting one person.
a long time?
What bonus do you get out of spending 8
Long
hours?
time. I roll a check against the disease's DC, a medicine check. If I
Okay.
succeed, they get a +2 against the next saving throw. A crit. Oh, that's not right. This isn't right. This is Pathfinder. Sorry about that.
Starfinder.
Oh boy.
Sorry,
too
it's
much. We're
Starfinder.
playing too much 2E.
Gosh, you and
All
your
right, treat
2E
disease.
commentary.
All right, this only takes 10 minutes. Good
Did it
news,
on
guys.
purpose.
This only takes
Yes,
10
that is
minutes.
way better.
So good.
I still make a medicine check against the DC of the disease, and the creature gets a +4 bonus if I succeed.
Wow, so much better.
That's
Take that. into
incredibly helpful
That's
for me.
way better. Who is
Okay.
diseased again?
Say what? Luna and Lisk are diseased.
Yeah.
Okay.
the L squad.
I thought I
So-
had been, but never mind.
Who are we gonna have roll first here?
Well, I'm rolling for Lisk.
Yeah.
Boom, because alphabetical order.
Alphabetical order.
Hey, that's
26.
good.
Did I hit the DC?
Move
Oh,
over the screen here.
25 if it was yesterday.
No.
You hit the DC.
Damn right.
All right, +4 for you, Lisk.
I'm gonna roll it. +4. Here we go. Bad.
Well.
Real bad.
Well.
All right,
Hero
so you
point.
get your +4. That is a 12 total.
Mhm.
You have saved once.
Oh, that did it.
Alright. That's a low
Uh,
DC. I like that.
All right, and this roll is for Luna. This is
All right.
Oh,
Let's
man.
go.
destroyed it.
32. Come on, Luna. It is 18.
Nice.
18. All right, so you saved. You both saved for day 1. However, you have not gotten rid of this fever yet. So now we're on to day 2.
All right, reverse order. Luna,
Oh my god.
Oh,
natural 20.
nice.
Look at
Natural
that.
20.
no.
All right,
Wasting
34.
all my
All
good
right.
rolls.
Oh,
Yikes.
Oh, no.
Yikes.
Luna got a 19 and a 20 on those medicine checks.
there you
Yeah.
go, 22.
Didn't even need
22. You no longer feel sick. You are now back to healthy, sir. You no
Oh
longer
my
have filth
God.
fever.
Nice.
There we go. Lisk.
Oh no.
19?
I still made the DC. All right.
Damn right. Let's
Let's
go.
roll.
Nice.
Let's roll for it.
Let's go.
You
Oh,
really
wow,
got
one
close
lower.
there.
Worse than
You didn't get the
Wait.
+4.
You
I
didn't
didn't
add
add the
you
plus
didn't add
four.
your +4.
Woo.
All right,
that's
so
15.
15 total. You met the DC and saved.
What's the
Well
DC
played.
12? That'd be hilarious.
It is a DC 12.
Oh my
That
gosh,
makes
yes.
sense.
Nice.
Man, very
Wow.
close.
So nobody has filth fever anymore. That's good.
Woo,
All right,
we
so
did
we've
it.
gotten rid of the one thing that wasn't necessarily super important, but we needed to talk about it. Okay, a couple other things to note. I wanted to make sure you guys got all of the things from your interaction with Talmrin, because we kind of went through that rather quickly towards the end of last session, because I wanted to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Just as a reminder, Talmrin has given you a stolen key card from Gulta. That is to access the prison itself, so you have that on you. She also gave you 4 serums of appearance change, 2 spell gems of disguise self, and because you were committed to helping rescue the 3 prisoners she had asked you to rescue from Gulta, she gave you 3 glamored fusion seals 5th level.
Okay.
Did you get all that?
Indeed.
Okay. One thing that I did not say, but she definitely communicated with you, was when you were in talks about the prison itself, she was probably talking a little bit about like infiltrating, and we'll go over that in 1 second. But one thing she did note, because she knew why you were going there, and that was to rescue these prisoners, plus Sedona, your friend. She would have said, like all Star Empire prisons, Gulta keeps its non-Aslanti in one place. Gulta is called Cell Block J, which is where they keep these prisoners. That you should start looking there, and that the Aslanti don't keep what she calls machine meat androids like her in the same cages as other aliens, meaning they probably don't keep Sedona 17 in the same place that they would keep creatures, because the Aslanti don't view androids as anything, really. They're just slaves. They don't think they're sentient, and that you would probably have to look in a separate place, but in the same cell block for Sedona 17.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sad days, I know. Very mean. These Aslanti are the worst, honestly.
Yeah, preach.
They're pretty bad.
All right. Let's see. The one thing that I... and Alex, this is for you. The one thing that I did not read, because it's not actually in this section, it's in the next section, even though it directly applies to what Talmrin says, is that she mentions that if none of the PCs currently speak Aslanti, that she notes that they aren't likely to get far in the Aslanti prison except as prisoners. She suggests that you figure out some way to speak the language before you arrive at Gulta. So that's what I had read about speaking the language, but technically, you could have gone without being able to speak Aslanti.
Well,
We do the old Chewbacca thing.
I redo my level up.
Nope, can't redo it. It's already done. It's stuck.
You tricked me.
I didn't mean to trick you. It's in a different section. I'm sorry. Let's see. Other things that are important to note. Did you guys buy any additional things from the Zed peeps?
I
Sure, we're
think
going
we should
to.
get the. I think we should get the ability crystal.
Yeah.
If
for
nothing
sure.
else, just because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't
There
know
was probably
who
a question
should
of if
have that.
Alex wants a Solarian crystal also.
Or do they have one of those?
They have 3 of them, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
they have
wow.
one of each.
Maybe just 2. Yeah, I'm
Well,
not
I
sure
know.
if the
Graviton,
Talon is one
Photon.
of them or not. Okay.
I know, I got the last ability crystal. So,
I will take out 1,500 of our UPBs, or 1,400 for the
bird darts.
item.
Oh.
I have plenty of darts now, thank you very much.
Let's see. Who is
so we are
carrying the
buying that.
ability
We just need to-
crystal? Oh, there it is. So I'll put that on 0. So ability crystals are now gone. None left. Was there anything else you
wants
guys
that thing?
wanted to buy?
Zed vendors.
Well, we could just buy the rest. Well, at least one more Mark II serum, probably.
Yeah, honestly, I'm fine with blowing basically whatever we have on healing.
What were the Solarian crystals available? Who had those?
That was held
Half-
by
has them.
Half
H.
something.
H.
Half red.
Half red. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a Talon crystal minor, a graviton crystal of least, photon crystal of least level, least photon crystal. That sounds really like an awful thing to put in your Solarian weapon, but you know,
Least.
do it. Anything from Mr. Meatball Boy you guys wanted to buy? The hairy meatball?
What was his name?
Did I ever
It's
give you
just
his
a-
name?
I don't know.
X. Yeah,
Maybe
you
X?
did. You did. I remember
okay.
what
It's
it was.
not
the
Mr.
the
Meeple?
Zarb.
Zarb, that's right.
The Zarb.
The Zarb.
Yeah, it's the Zarb.
Mm.
XAAARB.
Zarb.
3 days.
I'll take the cheapest of the three. It's 1850.
That one makes you do non-lethal damage, right?
Oh, are you serious?
it's
More
only-
non-lethal damage, people?
Or can you choose to?
It's only when the crystal is set to stun.
Ah, okay, my bad.
Oh,
You can deal non-lethal.
I think that's a good buy for us as a group. 1850, was that right?
that's
Yeah,
the Talon
1850.
crystal. Yep. Okay, that's gone. All right, excellent.
And we got 1750 UPBs left. And however many credits people are holding on to.
Do we need this hollow skin? Or do we have stuff that basically already functions as this, right?
So
Do we need what?
It's called a hollow skin?
it's the
Hollow
thing
on
that
the first
holds.
page.
Lets you.
Lets you disguise yourself.
Let's you
I
disguise
think we all
yourself
have
as
hollow skins, right?
pretty much anything.
Do we all have those?
I think I crafted a hollow skin.
I
for
have
everybody that
one.
needed one.
Okay.
I have one.
I do. I have a hat of disguise, and I'm just really good at disguise.
I may have just crafted a hollow skin for everybody who wasn't you then. To get the hat of disguise.
That's. Oh no! I have one too. Okay,
Okay.
never mind. That was pranks. I pulled a prank on everyone. That was really good.
Let's talk about while you guys are just kind of looking through there. I'm gonna just kind of go over some things about Gulta. If you remember, Talmrin had kind of given you some information about the prison, about things you should expect. You remember we kind of briefly went over this at the end of our last session, but importantly, she mentioned that you would have to dodge guards, security robots. You'd be dealing with cameras. The Aslanti bloodline locks, which you have already noticed, the new doors were headed there. You can expect that those would be in the prison, she mentioned. She also gave you like a list of things you could utilize to navigate your way through the prison, some ideas about how to approach things, because after all, Talmrin is a smuggler, and so therefore knows the best way to get in and out of places, so she gave you some suggestions, which I will share with you. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share you basically a spreadsheet with like her suggestions and then a spot for you to take notes, because you're probably going to want to know, like, all right, did this work? What did it do? What's the outcome? Can I use it some other way? Yada yada yada. So those are Talmrin's suggestions. Things like creating a disguise, move stealthily, scoping out rooms, disabling local cameras, dealing with security doors, bypassing the bloodline locks, setting up remote triggers for things, minor and major distractions, disguise your tampering, and of course, last but not least, if you run out of everything else, try to fast talk your way out of situations.
Okay.
All suggestions she gave you. So she's just trying to put you on the right path, help you navigate your way through the prison, because she's confident that it's going to be complicated.
We can just shoot our way through.
Absolutely.
Not even worried about it.
Absolutely. All right, so as a part of this, what I'm going to need to know is I'm going to need to know what specifically some notes about your characters going in, which we can do when we get there, in terms of disguises and kind of how you're approaching things. But first and foremost, you guys, I think, opted last time that you would just fly through normal space, not through the drift. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
That's right.
So it's going to take you approximately 5 days to get to Gulta Prison flying in regular space. You do pass a couple of starships along the way, Aslanti gunships and the like. All of them at which you actively handshake, your ship handshakes with them, and they turn and go a different direction. So it appears that Talmrin has in fact installed the fixture drive plume and installed the, what's the word I'm looking for?
Transponder?
Transponder, thank you. So that it is handshaking correctly.
I didn't even know our ship had hands, so that's crazy.
I know, it's wild. At this point, you are registered as the Relic. Your transponder in your ship is registering you as the Relic with everybody that you interact with.
Nice. Probably.
Okay.
So, anything else you want to buy before you left? Retroactively buy before you left?
I think I'm okay. I don't think any of these guns are, I didn't see any operative ones.
It feels like low-level guns are very
Yeah.
for upgrading
Okay.
in Starfinder.
Healing probably.
Yeah, we can buy some Mark II serums.
Yeah, that's probably the right answer.
We can. We can't get all 4, but we can get 3.
I'm sure they won't go to waste.
We can get all 4 if we wanted. Be 1,700 of our 1,750 UPVs.
Well, I mean, what, I don't know. Seems better to spend while we have a shop,
Yeah.
right? Since
I
it
think
seems
I
like
agree.
shops are kind of rare sometimes.
Yeah.
Last time we went on
Right.
an adventure, we were stuck for so long.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so I think everybody just take a Mark II. Also.
All right.
Okay. How much monies are you guys left with?
50 UPVs and 44 credits. I
Okay.
have written in here anyway.
All right.
Can we just turn those credits into UPVs? By the way, we can, right? No problem with that.
Nope. I mean, it's 1-to-1. You could have traded it on Outpost Z, so that's totally
Yeah, that's what we would do.
fine. Okay, so let's talk real quick. You guys are on your way to Gulta. It's going to take 5 days. I'd like for you to describe kind of what your characters are doing en route, because you have some time here to figure out what's going on. Plan. This is you guys' time to plan as a crew as well, exactly what you're going to do upon arrival.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
we got a plan, and it's a good one. You buckle up.
It's a good plan.
An excellent strategy. Alternatively, I can just have your ship land and we can go from there.
No.
We'll play it later.
Yeah, we'll wing it.
All right, let's start with this. What are you guys doing on your first few days? Because you're not going to be planning immediately. You have time to deal with this. What are each of your characters doing while you're on the ship, getting mentally prepped? I'm sure Lisk is just stabbing things with combat knives.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Actually, I assume this holographic clone thing is something that Lisk builds. I assume it's like a utility belt kind of situation. So he's probably kind of cobbling that together for the first few days.
All right. Twick, how about you? What are you doing?
Vic probably spends the first day or two practicing his new medicinal crafting and testing them out on anybody who will allow him, so probably Co.
Okay.
Keeping track of notes with Kip. Kip.
All right.
I
All right.
named him now.
You forgot his name?
Yeah, I changed it at one point. Is the problem?
From Quip to Kip?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
It's Kip.
Kip. All right. How about Luna? What's Luna during this trip?
She's probably wandering around a little bit distant. In some cases, preoccupied with we need a plan to get in this place, but also I have this contact number I don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
That I got off a poster. And she's probably at points lying in bed, looking at this number, holding this serum of appearance change, and just going back and forth with what am I doing here type thoughts. So not a ton of constructive stuff, but I think she's working through some stuff.
Okay. I think actually while you're sort of pondering about all these things, you actually you guys are able to still receive some amount of communications from the Pact Worlds. They still reach this area. It just takes a long time. So you can presume things may have been sent, days and days and days ago. So about 3 days into the journey, you receive just a note. It's a transmission from Fikel Tartaro, who, if you remember, is a very specific voice. He's a radio guy. He does the Pact Worlds daily, and it's a request for an interview with you, Luna.
Oh, so famous.
And the text basically says, we would like for you to consider interviewing with Feichel. And then his signature is at the bottom, but you can definitely tell it wasn't sent directly by him. It was probably sent by one of his underlings.
Interesting. Yeah, she's probably like it's all tied in, like all this stuff. So she probably does that for a bit and then shoots off a message. Like we can communicate out without raising suspicion, right?
Yeah, you can communicate out without
Okay.
raising suspicion because you're kind of like directing it.
Okay.
The way
shoot out a response.
The way drift travel works, you can always know where the Starstone is, and that's the thing that's at the center of Absalom Station. So no matter where you're at in the galaxy, you can use the drift to communicate directly back to the Starstone, directly back to Absalom. So any communications you're sending are just going to travel that way. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so she probably eventually shoot something back like, would love to chat. At your earliest convenience.
How polite. Okay. How about Ko? What's Ko doing on this trip?
Ko's Duolingoing most of the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's really got to catch up.
Sponsored by Duolingo.
Walk into his room, there's like a picture of an apple. It's like trying to pronounce it correctly.
In between being experimented on. Yeah, I'm learning Aslanti, I guess.
It's okay. The medicinals won't impact your learning. I promise.
Wow,
But-
that sounds so suspect.
Can they help me learn it faster? That'd be cool.
No, unfortunately, they can't.
Should
They'll
have
make
been
you
an
flap
alchemist.
foot while you learn it. Is that helpful?
Oh, it's already astounding how fast people learn languages in this universe anyway.
Yeah.
Come on, guy.
Just
Suspension of
I mean,
suspension
like
of
the
disbelief.
day before yesterday, I heard somebody speak Terran, and I was like, that.
yes,
that.
I'd like to learn that.
Now
I know that
Terran.
now.
Maybe it's like the Matrix, where they just you stick something
Plug
in
in.
like a data jack in the back of your
Yeah.
head, and you just upload
Sure.
the language.
I know Kung Fu moment.
Or I mean,
If-
maybe
Yeah.
Aquan's just like Splish Splash. That's it.
I was
You got
taking a
it.
bath.
Yeah,
Yep.
you just gotta
That's it.
know those two, and you know the language.
True that. Okay, so learning some Aslanti languages. All right, so you guys are probably about 4 days into your trip. You have a few days left to plan things out. You do get what appears to be an audio transmission from the Pact Worlds. It seems like it might be from a well-known figure that has a voice that wants to communicate with people out in near space, far space, outside of the Pact Worlds. You may have heard of him. His name is Krylo23. And it comes through like basically an ad for his most recent episode. Let me actually get us started here.
I was
And
expecting Good Morning Glip Glop.
Hey, that's trademarked by the other guys. Can't
That's
use
trademark IP.
Yeah. No, I really like Glip Glorp, but it can't be in this universe. Well, like kind of. It's just, adjacent. Adjacent universe. So you do, it'll just basically start playing on the console. You guys are kind of all standing around the center console on the ship, and you hear this music sort of start.
Ooh.
Cafe jazz.
Yeah, dude.
Hey there, Space Warriors! It's Krylo23 back with more info for you on Galaxy Dispatch Radio. Lots of stuff going on around the galaxy these days. Here's some of the latest. As we all know, the Drift Rock, aka the Mystery Mineral, aka the Stone Wanderer, has been the talk of the Pact Worlds, with many in speculation as to its origin. after the Eoxian embassy took it upon themselves to be mediators and sent in the Driftrock 5, images came back showing some scary ghoulies and what appeared to be alien-made caverns. I'm not a lawyer of any sorts, but if I were for the Hardscrabble Collective or Astral Extractions, both of whom claim to have ownership, I'd stay as far away from that death trap as possible. Word is, there's something alive on that rock that killed the crew. Up next, and fresh out of the synthesizer, Paradise Resorts is firing up its reactors on the grand opening of New Elysium. Some folks out there are getting a special invite. Better keep that ticket close to the vest, if you know what I mean. Lots of people would kill to get an invite to Paradise Resorts location, and I ain't cruising for a bruising. And last but definitely not least, tune back in tonight because Krylo's got a special treat. A young fella by the name of Jellic Folsom stopping by the studio, digitally of course, to talk about what went down on the Condus, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. I've even gotten some reports that a crew out of Abdar Corp is responsible for some of the mess, and that they've been going rogue. Word is, these guys take all the contracts the other cargo runners won't, so be careful out there. Until next time, this is Krylo23, and you're listening to Galaxy Dispatch Radio, bringing you the real news all the time.
Like we're getting
that was amazing. That was great. Love that.
I feel like we're getting a surprisingly bad rap for that.
Yeah, what's the deal, Jellic? Like, come on, dude.
Let's go fucking let's go get Jellic. What's he doing? He's talking poopy about us.
We did him at least like 3 solids. So
yeah, he owes us. We saved his marriage, probably, maybe.
And his life, that one for sure.
His life for sure.
Yeah. But more importantly.
Gosh.
Oh man.
Yeah, you don't know. You guys recognize Krylo23? He's like a famous radio voice that nobody knows where he's at. He's kind of just broadcasting from a mystery location in the Pact Worlds, or maybe even near space.
Okay.
And he's kind of just in on the news. He likes to be really involved with things and tell people the real stories, what's actually going down.
The real news.
The real news. That's right.
Not the fake news.
You're like that guy from Serenity who's just in the outpost near no one except a single android, tapped into all the feeds.
Yeah.
He's like Alex Jones.
I was getting more Three Dog vibes. You guys all went very weird.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not based off of Three Dog.
Of course not. Of course not.
No, why would it be? Galaxy
it's
Dispatch
ridiculous.
Radio?
Mm-hmm.
Totally different. Totally different.
There's definitely different words in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure. Yeah, no, totally.
Different words.
Totally. So you guys have this message. If you want to go back and reference it, or if you want me to send you the text, I can too, because your computer would be able to convert it to text. If there's anything specific you'd like to know about it, you can kind of delve in, or you guys can start planning what you're going to do when you get to Gulta.
Yeah, so what's the plan? Oh.
Yeah,
So we
we do
these suits fit real good. So it looks like we belong.
Oh, we got something that we got some juice that would change our DNA. Am I remembering this correctly?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
talking
problem.
about
it doesn't do
serum
that
exchange.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It changes you within the realm of your species.
Yeah.
So you can clean yourself up a little bit.
We're
You could
still
fix
gonna look
that
like
ear.
the Soki.
You could fix that ear.
Gotcha, but it can't give us Aslanti blood.
Mm-mm.
Right.
No. Or even
Well-
make us look like Aslanti.
Yeah, it
Do
can't
we
even
know how
make us
these
look
doors
like
work? Like, if we had, a vial of Aslanti blood.
Ooh.
Like, should we have been draining the blood from all these Aslanti we killed?
Jesus
Is really
Christ.
my question.
Or
we
like
could have actually got it from one of them.
I'm just saying, we
taking
killed
ears
a lot,
from them
actually.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a few arms, legs, whatever. It's like a head.
Make a necklace out of them.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
If you gotta do it.
The
And
teeth
we
have
do.
DNA in them.
Yeah.
Start a new collection. You pretty much just gotta go there and follow whatever like procedures we get told to. Like they're going to direct us to a dock or something, probably.
Yeah.
The problem is though, so we go right, we follow the procedures, we drop off the doors. The next part is probably we leave. Right, like standard procedure is probably not the door delivery guys get to like hang out and jailbreak some guys if they feel like it.
You guys got a spa? We can just hang out for the night. Get early start in the morning.
It would be nice if they had like a just a chill area.
I doubt they do, but
It doesn't sound likely. Well, maybe we can get in and just kind of like make a distraction somewhere. Just to like get people kind of not aware of where we went. And then we can just kind of disappear amongst, the guards.
yeah.
We blow up our own ship.
That is a bad idea.
They would
Blow
never
up
expect
your
us to
own
be bad.
They wouldn't
Shit.
expect it, but we also wouldn't survive, so
Well, we could survive. We
Oh.
leave the ship first.
we wouldn't survive free. We'd be dead or prisoners.
Fine. Okay.
We'll steal another ship later.
Oh yeah? Yeah.
Easy.
Alright, so we can do... A subset of us can stealth around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put 1 point in
Do
stuff.
we...
Oh my god.
Do we know, like, so back to the door thing. Can we research how those doors work to figure out a way past them?
You can. You still have access to your infosphere, and if you remember last time we were kind of traveling, you were doing some studying about the Aslantes, so you can do that here. You can do some research. You're
They're
not certain what
hackable,
you'll get
though.
out of it, but if you'd like to, they're hackable. You've hacked them before.
We've hacked them.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you would like to do a little more research, also, if you remember, the doors are on your ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So, depends on what type of research you want. You can either, read what you can read about it on, on the infosphere, or you can go check out the doors themselves. It's kind of up to you.
Well, why don't we
Sure,
divide and conquer?
Yeah. I'm into that practical
Let's
research.
check the doors for vulnerabilities. Maybe we can get like a...
Yeah.
I mean, if we could get these ones like pre-hacked almost, that'd
Well,
be
I don't-
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
find,
I don't think they'll
find
be
some sort of
installing them while
backdoor
we're
in,
there.
right?
I was suggesting that before, but yeah, I don't think they'll be like
I mean, probably not, but it does mean.
the doors we're trying to get through at any point.
I
It'll,
don't-
it'll be
yeah.
some closet, random closet.
but like theoretically, it does mean that we've done it before. I don't know if
Yeah.
in game it would be enough to get us a bonus, but theoretically, if this was real, it'd be like, yeah, I've hacked these doors before. I hacked 3 of them or whatever.
Mhm.
Okay, so who's splitting up to do what specifically?
Well, I think at least Twick would be trying to hack the doors, right?
Yep.
Okay.
What kind of check would it be to like research on the infosphere?
That is just going to be a culture check to recall information about specifically the doors themselves, the sensors, the bloodline locks.
Then maybe if Luna can do that. Yeah. Luna's got pretty good culture. Luna's got very good culture.
29.
29. You do as much research you can, but you cannot find any good
No fucking
information
way.
about the doors themselves. It appears like this technology is kept pretty safe. Like they don't want this information getting out. They provide the doors as needed, but people don't really know a lot about them specifically.
If the DC was 30, I'm gonna scream.
Yeah, right. That one on the D6.
The one on the D6 is a killer.
Okay.
But Twick, you are investigating the doors
Yep.
themselves. Okay. You can make me an engineering check on that.
Yep. Great.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
Just great.
Okay, a 13 on the engineering check. Yeah, you also, you've been looking over them. You feel like there's something here to figure out, but it's like just beyond your capacity as an engineer to understand. I don't know if it's crossing wires. Things are just not making sense for you. You see how the mechanism works, but you don't see easy bypasses for it.
Can I take a shot?
You can also take a look. Yeah.
Well, 21.
A 21. While you are looking at the doors, you notice that there appears to be like this section where there's a wiring harness right behind one of the sensors right above the door, and it appears like maybe you can utilize that to your advantage when you're hacking these doors. It might be an easier way to get into the door system itself to hack the bloodline lock.
Okay.
And you think that's going to give you a little bit of advantage. In world, what it's going to do is it's going to give you a +2 to bypass the locks.
Yes.
So you'll have a circumstance bonus. You and only
That's
you,
great.
unless you can figure out how to share this information to other engineers that would be in a way they could understand.
Can I just point at it and say, like, hey, use that?
You know what? Sure. Yeah, there's not that many engineers on the team anyway, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say you point at the harness. Lisk points at the harness, and Twig's like, oh.
I should have been using that.
Okay, so yeah, you'll have a circumstance bonus to bypass
Nice.
the locks.
Excellent.
Luna, while you were doing some research, though, because you were looking at all kinds of things as Lanty, from prisons to storage facilities to accessing locations, couple of things you would have come across. Number one, you would have come across the fact that Gulta, it does come up. There's not a lot of information on it, but what does come up is that it is a very, very secure prison, high security. And you presume that, just based on your research, that there's not going to be many doors that don't require a lock or don't have a bloodline lock on it. You get the sense that the reason they're bringing in new doors is to reinforce old doors, replace ones that are out of commission and or are otherwise just not functioning. Maybe they've been damaged by something. You're not certain. But that's your guess is why they're bringing so many new doors in. You also get the sense, just reading about prisons and the doors themselves that are provided, that these prisons are usually well-staffed. It's not something that's just, doorways that you can just walk through and get to wherever you need to get to. They are quite often well-staffed by not cadets. Most of the time, these are Aeon guards and prison guards that are used to staff these prisons to keep people safe. And you can guess that it's an extra layer of complexity here, because this prison specifically is one that is used for housing non-Aslanti prisoners. So the security here is probably even more robust than it would be at a normal Aslanti prison.
Are there going to be cameras most places? Did Talmrin tell us where the camera room is or anything?
No, Talmrin just told you that basically there are probably going to be a lot of cameras. What you know from your research is that they're not necessarily easy to spot because they're very well disguised. So you will have to see if you can find them. There may be a central place where you could turn them off, but you're not certain. Talmrin's not really giving you any information in regards to that.
I don't know. I kind of don't know. It's tough to make a plan when we don't really know what.
What we're getting into, really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me refresh your memory on the things that you asked Talmrin.
Yeah,
because it's
okay.
been like 3 sessions since you actually talked to Talmrin about what was going on in the prison.
Fair.
You talked a little bit about the ship. You talked about luring the supply ship. All of that's kind of irrelevant at the moment. You also talked about how could we infiltrate Gulta. That was one of the things that came up, was how in the world could we actually get in. And if you remember, Talmrin said that her modifications would get you into a docking bay, that you needed to take the key card that she had stolen. It should be able to pass from the cargo bay into the cell blocks. The specific one you'd be looking for, based on Talmrin's understanding of how Aslanti house prisoners, is cell block J. So you would need to go from the dock to cell block J. She also mentioned that you'd need to be stealthy, because it's very easy to get caught in those places. She is well aware of how difficult it is to infiltrate. Also, that you might want to have a disguise to look like Aslant folk, as she would call it. And that if you would be caught or show up where you shouldn't be, the Aslanti would likely imprison or kill you on the spot. You would need to make sure that you had some sort of clear escape route once you got the people you wanted to get out of the prison, to get back to the ship, to leave the prison itself. Let's see, anything else in here? Cell block J, the androids are kept in a different spot. And then she told you about the 3 prisoners, a Vest named Mothkala, a Shirin named Shishik, and a Silvara, whose name she's not mentioning. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all you got from her.
Probably no way this is possible, but I guess Twick will look for blueprints of the prison. Or any amount he
Worth
can
a
get.
shot.
Okay. You can just make a culture check.
Yeah.
Because it'll be researched. I mean, you're just going to have to find the information.
Great, another 2. That's what I like to see.
Okay, yeah,
Back
13.
2s.
Again, you do a lot of research. You find information on prisons, but the only really information you can find is that high security prisons like Gulta typically have a centralized docking bay, and then all of the actual prisons, the cell blocks, surround that docking bay. But that's about all you can find.
So here's an idea I have. I don't know if this is any good. But if we basically have... It would involve 2 teams. We basically have a rescue team and a distraction team. The idea being we have one team that goes into the prison, gets the guys, and gets them out. And we have another team that goes somewhere else and makes a distraction to basically pull people away from the prison to make it easier from the cell block area. Maybe that team can also try to disable cameras and stuff. I don't like splitting the party, but it also feels weird to do a stealth mission with 4 people all clumped together.
What's
So I don't know. I don't know what else we do other than walk to the prison.
we
Hope
know
for the best.
Lisk has good stealth. What's everybody else's stealth?
Like
I have
three.
7. Ko has negative.
1, because I put a
Okay.
point in it.
1.
Nice.
Okay.
I was at like -4 before we leveled.
So I do have 7, so I'm not completely incompetent.
What about disguise? Because that's a good secondary
so
one, right?
my disguise is going to be +7. I can get a +10 using the spell gem. So I can get a
Nice.
+17.
Okay.
How many
Oh,
people
So that
are going
the spell
to...
gem can wipe out changing type, essentially. The penalty for changing creature type.
The holoskin also does
So I could
that.
make myself... Sure, yeah.
Oh, it does do
So you
that.
make yourself look like as Lance.
Normal as Lanty.
My disguise
And
is
then
+5.
I just still get my +7.
This 5's not bad.
All right, let's talk about your disguise here real quick, Luna. Tell me, what specifically are you planning on doing for your disguise? What walk me through. I know you mentioned like a couple things here, but specifically from start to end, what are you trying to stack on here to make sure that you're disguised up and ready to fool some people?
Right, so... I need to look at this holoskin again. You can use the holoskin disguise major features, race, or creature type without the DC of your disguise check increasing. It doesn't allow... It's not a will save thing, huh?
Nah, that's my hat of disguise.
That's the hat of disguise, which
Oh,
you can't
yeah,
actually
yeah.
use.
Why can't
Because
we use it?
it requires you to be caster level 6 to actually activate disguise self with the hat.
Wait,
Oh, really?
seriously?
Yeah, you have to. I actually had to go back and read about it because I wanted to make sure that I was giving you guys the proper tools,
What's the
but
point of that then?
don't know. I don't know
If
why
I
it's in
could
there.
if I could cast disguise self, I wouldn't need an item to disguise myself.
It's not that you need to be able to cast it, right? You need to
You just need to be. You need to be a caster level of 6th level. You need
Are
to
you
like.
sure? That sounds like it's the level of the spell that's in there. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's just the level of the spell that it's casting.
Let me pull it up. Pad of Disguise. Because I had to go read about it, and I read about the only people who were using it were.
Used to cast Disguise Self at will, cast level 6.
Yeah, I think that just means that when you use
It's
it,
casting at 6th level.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
It's casting as if you were a 6th level caster.
Okay. It's a very strange way to write that out.
That's how they do it in Pathfinder, also.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So never mind. You will have you have had a disguise then. All right. So that's okay.
What's a perception check that involves physical examination? They have to like touch you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the hollow skin doesn't work on that, right?
Right.
But-
Otherwise, hollow skin pretty good.
I mean,
Yes.
presumably we're wearing the armor. What is it? The
Yes.
ceremonial plate.
Mm-hmm.
So the only time we'd need to use the hollow skin is if we take off the troop armor.
Well,
Hey, what's
we ran into as Lantiu that were wearing their stuff, right? Like they were wearing freebooter armor. What was the captain wearing of the?
It was freebooter armor. You're right.
They were wearing freebooter armor, but if you remember, that's a crew of a cargo ship. It's not necessarily
Right.
part of the Aeon Guard.
what's the mechanics behind wearing, like, if we wore their armor, like our EAC, KAC stuff changes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes to what that armor is.
Pretty terrible. for
Problem is,
some
I'm
of us.
not proficient in it.
Yeah.
Well, the good
Yeah,
news
that
is
sucks.
it sounds like if we get into a fight, we're gonna die. So I wouldn't sweat that too much.
The what's it called? Hollow skin can disguise that anyways.
Yeah, as long as they don't touch us.
This guy's your armor too. Wasn't sure.
Let me pull it up here. I believe it's just projecting.
It just projects over top of you.
Yeah.
So
can just-
presumably you could program it to.
It says
Do
major
armor, right?
features. Major features, race, or creature type.
I would say probably it's just your actual physical body and not necessarily the entirety of everything. So armor, helmet, weapons. Because otherwise, a lot of the other items would be not necessarily as useful. Like what are the 5th level items I just gave you?
Glamour fusion
Yeah.
seals.
The Glamored Fusion Seals, because those are meant to change weapon appearance.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that the hollow skin wouldn't necessarily encompass all of the components of your character.
Sure.
We should put those on the three of us who are not co.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
If we go in as Aeon guards, they have guns, right?
Not
But they have
these
specific guns, yeah.
guns, yeah.
I mean, I have one of their pulsecaster rifles.
That works just fine.
Actually, I have
Yeah.
their Aeon guard assault rifle. It's actually Aeon guard assault rifle. Yeah.
Who do we pull these pulsecaster rifles off of?
I believe that was the
Pulsecaster
engineers.
pistols. Okay.
On the
Not
Relic.
ideal. Not
I need
ideal, but okay.
those whip things they have.
Hmm.
Attack lash.
Yeah.
So I think the
Um,
holoskin makes sense for disguise.
I think you are thinking of the wrong thing there, by the way. The guys with the tack lashes are senior guard cadets.
Oh. Right.
If you, and I can give you this because you've been doing research on this anyways, so you would have known. an Aslanti guard is, or an Aeon guard is like once you've graduated from cadet school and you've become part of the Aeon guard. Those people are a little bit more specific in style. Let me show you what they look like. Hold on. They look like this. You may have encountered somebody who looked like this once before.
It's like a green Power Ranger with a Cyclops eye.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Sparky
I'm pretty
Boomer.
sure that's the gun I have.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Is the Aeon Guard assault rifle with the white stone on it, Aeon stone or whatever it was.
Green Power Ranger with a Cyclops eye.
Yeah, dude.
It's a podcast. We gotta give, a quick description for the folks listening at home.
Of course. So let's go back, because I need to work through this before you guys actually get there. So time is just... I mean, you're kind of just still flying along while you're discussing, so...
Sure.
Luna, you said you are planning on wearing Aslanti gear, a hollow skin. Are you using a serum?
That's
Here's
not going to do anything.
A question. How weird would it be for the cargo crew to be Aslanti soldiers, cadets? Would that be really weird?
Culture check.
Hey, better than a 2.
23. So a couple things. And actually, if you want to roll me, you would have pulled some actually, you don't even need to roll this. You would have pulled some logs off of the Relic. What you know when it comes to cargo ships and cargo transports is the prison, like the places that things are going, don't always know what they're receiving. A lot of times that is managed at a higher level. So, for instance, in this case, they may have a log of some things they're supposed to be receiving, but not all. They also will know the ship name and its transponder, but they don't know anything about, like, they don't have, like, a specific, like, image of the ship. It's not important enough for them to have. They just know what ship's showing up with the transponder. They don't know who's delivering the materials, typically, other than a cargo crew. That could consist of any number of things. Sometimes these ships carry all kinds of things. They carry, they'll carry like manufacturing materials, UPBs, supply things for like oxygen tanks or reactor cores. Sometimes they will literally transport Aslanti guards. Sometimes they will transport prisoners. There's just no, like, they don't always know specifically what is being delivered to them. And you would have kind of gotten that off the Relic, because what you would have probably noticed off of their cargo manifest is some lines through some things that were checked as not, choosing to not receive or return to sender sort of concept.
Okay.
So we need to alter the best to say delivering guards.
Doors and guards.
Do we
Doors
want...
and
Or
guards.
prisoners.
We could deliver a prisoner. It's kind of a risky play, but it does get one of us definitely in the right area.
Yeah, it gets us in the right spot immediately.
Yes.
That's true. Which
Presumably
maybe
with
goes
the
back
linear
to
gear,
the... Does that get back to our split the party plan?
Kinda.
I mean, I think there's going to be some level of that involved
Yeah.
here, right? Like, theoretically, we're avoiding combat. Right? I think that's kind of the idea with this part, because if we
I
get
think if
into
you get taken
combat,
as a prisoner,
even if
you
we're all
won't.
together, I think we all die.
You get taken as a prisoner, though. I don't think you'll have any of your stuff.
Probably not, but...
Unless you can hide it real well.
Cheek pouches.
Yeah, I would think it would be like... I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, because it's probably going to be really hard to break out once you're in. And I doubt we would get to, like, walk them to their prison, right? Like, to their cell.
Right.
There's probably some, like, processing that needs to happen.
I have spent hours reading this section of the AP with no idea how you guys were going to approach this. So
Well, the
I
good news is
I knew when it came to us being on the ship and you had to discuss, it was going to be like literally an hour-long discussion about like what's the best strategy, how do we approach it, what do we do. It's funny.
so
We
here's,
just we have
Okay.
very little to go
So-
on to figure
Yeah.
out what we
Yeah.
want to do.
So can we present it like this, and we'll just write this down, and it's brainstorming, and it's maybe a terrible idea, but we're writing it down. Option 1, right? Luna and Co. disguised, Lisk and Twick prisoners, right?
Sure.
I think that's
I-
a way to go, right?
I have a follow-up plan to the prisoner idea. I think it's better. I think I like this better. They don't know what we're delivering, so we are delivering 2 vaguely Yosoki-sized boxes to somewhere near the prisoners. Whatever we think is nearest the prisoners, that's where we deliver these boxes.
I don't think we have any way of knowing what's near the prisoners.
We can guess. What would
This
you
is
put? We know the shipping thing is near the prisoners, if nothing else. Yes.
it's a box labeled supplies for cell block J.
Yes.
You know that the dock is connected, like there's a centralized dock that's connected to all of the cell blocks.
So
Are there other docks, or is that the only dock?
Most prisons have one dock, one way in and out, typically, because they want to limit traffic. Again, I think Luna would have known this based on her research of prisons, but there's usually one way in and out of secure areas of prisons. They have one dock. When you go there, you do whatever you need to do, and then you leave, and that's the one place you come in and out on. And that's why most prisons will exist in environments that are either harsh or don't have oxygen surrounding them. Though the goal is to prevent anything from escaping. So that's why they're as secure as they can be.
Sure. No, one dock's I think good for us, almost, because it gets us in the right spot, connected to cell block J.
yes. Do we know what like mechanism do they have? Like, if we wanted to dock, like what I'm thinking. Let me just start from the beginning. Right. We drop off this box. And we say, okay, here are your boxes, bye. Everyone else leaves. Whoever's in the box comes out and, like, does a computer so that way we can dock again without causing alarm. Like, after hours. Like, later at night. The idea being, maybe some folks have gone to bed. You know, it's a little bit quieter. We can kind of slip on, go to the jail block while things are quieter. Without raising an alarm. We're not necessarily logged. They're not going, hey, why is the ship still here? It's been 2 hours.
What if that person's unable to get that computer check to work?
Well, then, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's
They're
going to be a lot of stuff here.
The rest of the
See
Indefatigable
ya,
goes on a
guys.
different adventure.
We really, really hope they roll good.
We could put a couple people in a box underneath some doors labeled cell block J. That gets them into cell block J. But that's all, really. So if it's us, Abe and Alex, and Luna, can maybe get back there somehow. Like, oh, we left something in the box that we need for the ship.
Yeah, Luna's a smooth talker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Co can do it now too, right? Now that you know his Lanty.
Yeah.
That's true. You are our 2 most
Pretty
charismatic
beneficial.
characters.
It's just hard. It's just hard because we don't know
Yeah.
what exactly. If there was a way to scout and come back and reformulate a little bit. One of the things on there was scout rooms, right? Yeah, scope out rooms. Move stealthily and scope out rooms.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's a great idea. I love that. Is that... like, are we... I don't know what happened. Like, we get there and we say, okay, we're here for doors. Is that okay, go ahead and unload your cargo while I go do something
Yeah.
else? Like, I'm not gonna watch you do it. Or is it, okay, give me the doors. Okay, bye-bye. You leave now.
Is there an equivalent of like the plague flag on ships of old, where you could come into dock and be like, "Hey, this ship's in quarantine. You can't actually go on for 24 hours." That type of thing.
Hmm.
Interesting. I think yes, there would be something that's that equivalent. I mean, there's all kinds of viruses, so
Right.
it's not like that's out of the question. It's just a matter of whether or not you would be able to convince them that that's what's going on.
Sure.
I think, kind of in the same vein, what if we sabotaged our own ship, like a little bit, in a way
Yeah.
that we could fix right away, but might not be so obvious to someone else?
Yeah, we just pull out the catalytic converter real fast.
Sure,
Right,
right? And we're like, listen, guys, we came here, we got your doors, but like, we ain't going nowhere. We barely made it here.
Right.
Like, you gotta get your guys in there to fix our shit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just hang out in the employee lounge. We won't cause a fuss. We'll be cool. We can help install the doors. It's all good. And then we break everyone out of jail, get back on the ship, and take off with their engineers still aboard, because then we can kill them on our own ship in outer space.
I like
I like that.
I'm trying to like get us a surveillance opportunity also out of it. I don't know if it's possible to like do some.
Do we have scanners?
We
We
have
have shitty
scanners.
scanners.
You do have
They're not good,
scanners.
but we have scanners.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have budget short-range scanners. But
The worst scanner.
again, upon
Not
approach, you would have a generalized idea. You'd be able to scan the surface of the moon.
Okay.
Here's an idea I had that's not going to help us right now because it's for the escaping part.
Okay. That's an important part, though.
Yeah. So we have the transponder for the other ship that's not the Relic, right? I forget what it's called. Do you know what it's
Shit,
called?
that's not the
I don't
Oh,
remember.
you're the Barazad.
The Barazad. So I'm thinking we rig that up to some buoy set to broadcast the distress signal somewhere a little ways away from the prison. And we set that off right as we're about to break some people out and take off. That way the patrol ship has to go deal with the distress signal and we can just book it out of there.
Okay. I like that. Ideally, we could also maybe find some systems in there, maybe that we could muck around with. I don't want to put all our eggs in that basket though, because I really don't know if that's a thing, But it's a good thing that we can control. How's that? Is a good plan that doesn't rely on us finding the control room and doing a big hack on it.
Right.
What was the remote trigger note from Talmrin?
Talmrin was just mentioning that you could potentially remotely trigger things within the facility to cause distractions. Doors, alarms, cameras, even if you had devices to cause other distractions, things like explosives, things like that, those could all be utilized potentially.
We have wave grenades, right?
Yeah, you should have some.
Yeah.
That is the easiest distraction I can think of. It's probably not great because that probably would cause a lockdown, but
Mm-hmm.
if we need a distraction like immediately, because ideally, right, we don't want them to know they're being jailbreaked
Right.
until it's too late.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're at least in the cargo bay.
Yeah.
So we sabotage our own ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We go in. We land. Luna/Co explains the situation. Hopefully convincingly enough. And then what's the move after that? Do we try to do a quick mosey around to see what's what?
I think so. I
Or-
think Yeah, so in my head, right, it's our ship's broke, help us fix it, we'll just kind of, be out of your way, and then we can kind of, like, do a little recon work. Maybe we meet up in, like, the employee lounge, and it's like, okay. Then, we can kind of get a lay of the land, figure out what's where, and then maybe we can hatch a more detailed plan.
Okay.
We could also combine this with the box plan. Kind of like, because that still gets us access to somewhere else potentially, even if it's just the person in the box.
Right.
Because ideally it's, hey, we have this box that needs to go to like
The control
jail cell
room.
J, whatever.
It needs to go to the control room.
Sure.
It's
yeah.
replacement terminals for the control room.
Sure. Whatever. Yeah, that works.
And Liska's in there.
Yeah, I'm the monitor.
You're the guy in the chair. Okay.
I'm worried about control room because
Yeah.
that would be a list against presumably multiple people.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay.
I think there's potentially something there, but I don't necessarily think we should do that. Send him by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless we could deliver the box.
See, that's the tough part, right? I don't know who's delivering the box. And then, like, what if it's like, oh, okay, we've carried the box here, let's crack this open and get at those computers. And it's like,
Right.
whoops, that's not computers.
What if it's like we need a signature from somebody in the control room, or we have to return to
We're
sender
big on
this package?
signatures.
Yeah.
That
True.
would be good.
Sure. Very thematic.
We bring it all back home.
Bringing it all back around.
We're kind of pot committed when we get in there, though, right? Because we either have to figure out a way how to get those people out of the room or kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are there cameras in the control room?
There's probably an
Doubt it.
alarm in the control room, right?
Right,
yeah. There's
yeah.
almost certainly an alarm. But I doubt cameras in the control room. Plus, where would people be looking at it from? Just
Depending on
the
how
control
many,
room.
depending on how many people are in there, we could send them out for coffee or something. I don't know.
We'd have to look like guards in that case. instead
Yeah.
of-
Well, this is one thing that the head of disguise might actually be better at. Disguise, because disguise self only costs one action to cast.
Ah.
So the nice thing there is you can go in as Steve the delivery guy, and one standard action later, for the next hour, you are Carl the guard.
Mhm.
You know, you can do a real good quick change. And we've only got one of those, but
I have the 2 spell gems also.
okay, yeah. So so we can do that.
So we can do it 3 times.
Yeah, it's something. It's better than nothing.
Let us go in as not without huge penalties on the armor, right?
Yeah.
I don't got no penalties.
Right, yeah, because you can
What up?
just wear the armor, but the other 3 of us would need.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much worse armor.
Right.
How tough would it be to breach a hole in? I guess it's a ship. I'm assuming it's a ship of some description.
The moon.
Are you
What are you
like?
talking about?
Like,
the prison moon Gulta?
well, in whatever the structure is. Like, basically, I'm wondering if we can go in, find our buddies, get them all in one spot, and then say, "Hey, person we left on the ship, come fucking shoot right here to blow a hole in this, and that is our escape." Rather than our ship is sitting for an hour, we just have, someone's just on the ship and just blows a fucking hole in it, and we leave via exploded hole.
Out of the ship or out of the prison?
Out of
Out of the prison.
Out of the prison. Yeah, I mean, make an engineering check.
I would love to. Boom. Oh, that's big. 31.
31. You know that the walls of the prison are very, very, very hard. It would have to be a pretty big explosion to blow a hole in the side. You also know that if you did such, that you could potentially depressurize, which would jettison you out of the hole.
Well,
not necessarily
honestly,
a bad thing.
ideal. That is our best case scenario.
Right. You presume that there are also airlocks around the prison. You don't know for certain, but most sites have airlocks in order to access locations within. So you might be able to do it that way as well. Doors are not usually as sturdy, we'll say, as an actual wall.
Okay. That could work. I mean, obviously that has some other issues, but...
Deep in thought.
I don't know.
So many variables.
I
don't know.
We know nothing.
We know. We have no information.
Like, because it really feels like whatever we pick, we're gonna get in there, and Aaron's immediately gonna fuck it up.
Yeah.
Like, no matter
this
what
doesn't
it
work
is,
at all.
it's gonna fall apart instantly.
Yeah.
And we'll need to just fucking call an audible anyways.
Which is why we need like 5 plans ready.
Yes.
Let me tell you one thing. So, if you'd like to, you already brought up the scan. So we'll just let's come back to the scan for a second. You have the capacity to scan from a distance. Based on Luna's research, you would know that there's no way your scans are getting through the outside of the prison itself. But you could get a layout, per se, like the skeletal structure of what one of the cell blocks looks like upon approach. And you think that would probably be about 30 minutes to 45 minutes out from landing, which would include docking procedure. So, you'd have time to scan it, and then you'd have still about half an hour to discuss prior to, come up with a strategy before you actually park the ship and disembark.
Yeah. So I think the sabotage excuse is the best option still.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's a good opener. I think it's the best opener we've had because we can combine it with other stuff.
We scan going in.
Before we approach, I
smooth
think we set up
talk.
Caleb's distress signal.
I think that is also a really good idea.
that too.
Best case scenario, right? We don't even need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely nice to have in our back pocket if we do end up needing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we want to probably place that as far away as possible while not being within range of other ships other than the prison one.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
All right. Let's just kind of play this out then, because I think that's probably going to be the best way to do this. As your ship is coming closer to the prison moon, you would be, before you can even see something on sensors, you would see another ship ping to handshake you.
Oh.
And that would be with your current transponder. So before you can't even see the moon yet, you can't even scan the moon, you're not even anywhere near, you can't see ships on radar, nothing. As you're approaching, another ship handshakes you. And that handshake identifies a specific ship that's around the moon, and that comes back as the ship name of... Where's it at? Hold on. I was reading in another section. Where's it at? Oh, here we go.
Shippy McShipface.
Shippy McShipface. Yep, that's the name we're going with.
Wow.
It's called the Zandamant. Zandamant. Zandamant.
Oh, all A's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You can tell it's a very powerful ship. You don't really know much about it. You're scanned because you're not close enough to get scanned, but you can tell just based on the info you get from the handshake. It appears that once the handshake happens, though, there's nothing else that occurs. No targeting, no nothing. So it appears Talmrin's work was effective. The engine modifications were effective. The transponder modifications were effective. And now you're still a ways away from the prison, but you're close enough to be scanned by a ship. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're particularly looking for anything, but you've completed a handshake, and now you can continue to approach.
Oh, before we get too much, before we don't have enough time to do it, can we adjust the manifest? Or is that something we should do?
It depends on what we want to do with it, I guess.
Yeah, what do we want to do?
Do we need to just adjust it so we have all those options? Like doors plus guards plus
Sure.
Electronics, cargo, something like that. I don't know.
We can do that. Sure. We should have like a crate at least that we can fill with kind of junk and say it's electronics, right?
Or conversely with you guys if that becomes something viable.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and toss out the transponder with the distress beacon.
Yeah.
Right after we get scanned, I guess. Right after we get hand shook.
Okay, I'm gonna need an engineering check on that. Actually, you could just take 20 for that. So what's your engineering bonus?
11.
11. All right, so 31.
Lisks is better.
Sorry, what'd you say it was?
What's your engineering bonus? His is
Plus
11.
13.
13. Okay, so 33. You would have been able to attach that transponder to, let's just say, a torpedo, and you've left that torpedo just sitting out in space, definitely within range of the ship that just you encountered, but not necessarily within range that's scannable by the prison or anything. So it's a ways out still. You've attached the transponder to it. Do you want to set it for a timer, or do you want to go the route of attempting to remotely access it?
Remotely do it. I think that would be preferable.
Okay,
but I don't know at what range we'd be able to do that. Or
you think
what the downsides of that would be, I guess.
Yeah, the only downsides would be, like, you think you could definitely get a signal to it. The only downside is where you would send the signal from, because you don't know about signals leaving from inside of spaces.
Right.
You know that you can send a signal from approximately where you imagine the prison moon is, and it would get to the torpedo, but you just don't know if there's something that would be blocking you. That's completely unknown from where you're at.
We can do a timer. How long are we thinking?
Man.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no concept for that.
Okay, so we'll put it on a 2-hour timer.
I think let's call it 2.5, right?
2.5 hours.
Sure.
Okay.
2.5.
I'll make it to a cappy.
Okay. You think based on your distance right now, it's going to take you an hour to get from where you're at to Gulta?
3.5. Thought we were close.
Well, no. If it takes that long, if it's going to take that long for the ship to get there when the distress signal goes off, 2 hours is, I think, great.
Because it takes an hour for it to get to respond.
Okay.
It would have to go to the torpedo, realize, wait a second,
This
and
is a
then go
trick.
to the
And then get back, yeah.
One thing to consider.
Sorry, not an hour travel distance. It is an hour from where you're currently at to actually park and land the ship in the actual dock.
Oh.
Which, remember, is like I said before, it's like 30 minutes of docking procedures. So I guess technically you're half an hour out from Gulta in terms of travel time.
Okay, so I'm still happy with 2 or 2.5, somewhere in there. I'm good with 2. If you want to do 2.
What's it gonna be?
So what? The one thing I am worried about now, because we just passed a ship.
Yeah.
Who is presumably a guard ship. And if he goes to check this out, as soon as he sees, oh, this is bullshit, he'll raid you in and be like, hey, something fucky's going on. Kill everyone who just showed up. I don't know. And just murder them. I don't care. We're the bad guys.
We didn't pass the ship recently, right? Just the ship that's on the moon is the one we
You don't know
hand-shook
specifically where it is. You just know it's near the
with.
moon.
But it's the one that's assigned to the moon, right? We know the name of the ship.
Sassaflassin. Yeah.
Sassaflassin.
Yeah, that's right. We both said the same thing.
Zandamont or something, is that right?
Yeah.
Zanzibar. Yeah.
Yep. All those names combined.
Zandamontabar.
Yep. The Zandamont. Is actually what it is. The Zandamont.
We can do 2.5 hours. So that should give us, well.
So it's a 3-hour timer then, right?
Yeah, we'll do 3 hours because that gives us 2 hours on the ship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. 2 hours on the moon and then we're out.
Yes. Because honestly,
we all-
I think if it takes longer than that, I think we already fucked up.
Quick 2-hour
Yeah.
mission.
We all set our,
Yeah, in and out, 2 hours.
synchronize our watches.
Synchronize our watches.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you like? Are you guys just going in as is? Are you just planning on?
We're
I mean-
doing the sabotage, right?
We're
Yes.
sabotaging our ship
Mhm.
in such a way that it's quick for us to fix, but hard to find.
Hard to diagnose,
Is the-
but quick
the
to
goal.
fix.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
And I think we should all disguise ourselves in some way. I will leave it up to. I don't know what exactly we want to disguise ourselves as. I know we have some armor. So that
Well,
makes
wear
it
the
pretty
armor
easy for
and-
Ko.
Activate the hollow. What is it called?
Hollow skins.
Hollow
skin
skins
for the-
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm using a
physical
hollow
features.
skin.
All right. So, as you guys you're about 30 minutes out. That way, you guys have some time to plan this. You're about 30 minutes from. You've gotten close enough that you can see the station. You're able to do your scan, and as you approach, you do hear like the intercom sort of comes to life, and it's Gulta's docking procedure communication, and hear somebody come over the comms, and they say,
Relic, we have you on census. Report to docking bay 6B, docking code 785 Ultra 1.
Ooh. Ultra 1. I'll just send an acknowledge nonverbal.
"Okay."
Does that sound
Nice.
like it's really close to where the prisons are? Like,
You wouldn't know.
We can
Damn.
scan though, right? We get some
Yes.
kind of scan.
Yeah, so you were
please.
able to do a scan. What
Please
you get
help
is
scan.
kind of, we'll just call it like this is like an outline of what you're seeing, kind of, because it's just the
Okay.
prison complex itself. It looks a bit like this.
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
And what you see as you're flying over, you see the entire Gulta prison complex. There are multiple of these. And what you see towards the bottom of this map is, and actually let me swap us over so that this is visible. Whoop, whoop, there we go. What you see is, at the bottom of this map is kind of where you would presume is the docking bay. And then these little arms sort of come out, and that's the prison complex itself. A series of dull gray domes connected by narrow corridors that spread out like a spider web across the pale surface of this moon. This moon being lit by a distant star. The entire structure itself encircles a large docking bay with hatches that iris open and shut. You can actually see a few supply ships coming and going as you're sort of approaching. You also notice that there are some auxiliary landing pads suitable for only really small shuttles. Those are connected to each wing of the prison. And this sort of prison network just sort of spiderwebs out from the center.
I hope you're ready for a new set of characters because we are so dead.
what worries me about this, right, is a lot of the checks feel like they're gonna be like, okay, I hope you roll above 10
Yeah.
5 times in a row. Because if any of you don't, you do lose and die.
I will tell you this, just like meta-wise, I've spent a lot of time reading how this part of the campaign works,
Okay.
and it's not what you imagine. So,
Okay.
like, it's not like they made it so impossibly hard that unless you approach it in one very specific way, you cannot do it.
Okay.
That's not what this is. In fact,
Okay.
this is like, they built a mechanic for interacting with the prison. I can't say anymore because it just
Sure.
it would take away from what it is, but
yeah.
they built a mechanic to make it so that you are capable of doing it in
Sure.
multiple different ways.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
That is good to know for my sanity.
Yes. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like
I
my
know that
fear,
there's-
right?
Yeah,
is
I
you
know that
get
there's
in
not a lot
there.
of information, so
Yeah.
My fear is you get in there and you're like, okay, I worked really hard on this disguise. And they go, hello, what's your name? And you roll your disguise check and you roll a 2. And it's like, I'm here to break people out of jail.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
We'll kill
We
you
lost
then.
immediately. I don't know.
yeah.
I guess we'll see though. Okay. But so let me just make sure I'm understanding this map. We are landing basically at the bottom part of this, right? That's sort
Right.
of the landing area.
Yeah, this is like a scan of one
Right.
of the arms, one of the cell blocks.
Okay, and then the jail part is these orbs, these big orb boys. The
presumably you don't
5 orbs.
Yeah, you don't know. You just can from space you can see a bunch of domes, and then you can see one that looks a little bit like it's a small landing pad for a shuttle.
Okay.
It almost looks like this landing pad is like a hexagon, and each side of it has a different ward of the prison.
Yes, that would be my
Different
understanding
cell
too. You
block.
probably have like a Guardians of the Galaxy style like tower in that middle part, and then you've got a bunch of prisons in each of the connecting ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be really hard to get a prisoner out from here through the middle part and out. So that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
You said there were shuttles on each airlock. Where are the shuttles?
No, there's small shuttle pads, auxiliary landing pads, suitable for only the smallest of shuttles that are connected to each wing of the prison.
Okay, so effectively not helpful for us.
Yeah, I mean you're in a big ship, so no.
Yeah.
Well, it could be though. How small
If
are
we
we
can
talking?
get a shuttle.
Yeah,
Uh,
if we steal a shuttle, yeah.
Your scan would show that there are not currently any shuttles on any of these landing pads.
Okay, that does make it harder to
doesn't
steal
mean-
one.
It doesn't mean that they won't come and go, but what you're showing right now is just there's nothing
Sure.
on any of the landing pads.
I mean, again, right? My idea here is if that right because we only have one manner of getting in, kind of right, and it's through the middle, in.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
That's how we get it.
Getting out though, if we can get one of those shuttles and just bypass all the security and basically like get this shuttle inside our ship. I don't know how small a shuttle we're talking. But that is my ideal, right? Is this shuttle is small enough that it can go into the cargo bay of the Indefatigable, and then we just leave.
Yeah.
We're just gone with the ship inside of our ship,
Yeah.
with the prisoners inside of the innermost ship.
They are small. You presumably could fit one into your cargo bay, although you don't know. Like, you know, you could fit a shuttle in your cargo bay, a very small shuttle in your cargo bay. You just don't know what is here. So
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. That's close enough for me to like that idea.
Yeah.
Because even if it's fly the slightly too big ship near our ship and then jump out of it, jump between ships. Really, I just don't want to try to get prisoners back through all the security to our ship.
Yeah.
That sounds really hard.
Seems tough.
Like, not
What if
possible.
we-
I've seen Now You See Me Too, where they just throw the cars around.
Sure.
Maybe we do
Yeah.
that with the prisoner,
what
you know?
a joke of a
So this is
man!
gonna
I
be
wish I liked those movies.
probably a hard sell. But what if we had forged orders to retrieve certain prisoners for, I don't know, immediate execution or something?
They just
Public
killed them.
execution?
They just killed them without asking us about it.
Yeah, they're like, don't even worry about it, we got it.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it.
Execution, guys.
Prisoner transfer.
Yeah,
My
but where would they go? It
cons-
sounds like this is the only prison for non-Aslanti.
Yeah, my
Right.
other concern is, like, if it's like, that seems weird, who authorized that? And it's like,
We got
Make up
a
a
name of a...
Lieutenant Sharu.
Yeah, Sharu.
it just feels like that's the kind of thing where they might, like, want to double check it. Whereas we show up and we say, here are doors for you. No one goes, well, who ordered these doors? It's like, oh, sweet, the doors we've needed.
Sure.
Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay, so your ship starts making its docking procedures, and you're making your way towards the actual iris. The iris of the docking bay opens. It's almost like a bunch of individual spindly fingers. They retract in all directions, and a hole is now there. And you fly the Indefatigable through this large iris. I mean, it's very large. It's large enough for a gargantuan-sized starship.
boy.
So it's a very, very big starship bay, docking bay. And as you fly through into the docking area, I can see Caleb rubbing
We're
his forehead.
so dead.
As you
have to
fly
open the
through
iris. We're so dead.
into the docking area, you see the iris close above you and shut.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
We just
We're in here now.
we'll do.
Showtime.
We just gotta
All
do
right.
some hacking. That's it.
So-
It's just
Yeah,
added
yeah,
an
yeah.
extra step.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem.
I'm good at hacking. We got this. That's easy. Honestly, that's gonna make later steps easier, anyways.
So
We
let
were
me take-
probably gonna do it anyways.
Let me take us over to where your ship
Oh,
is now
man.
parked.
Look at us, we're parked.
Yeah, dude. The first part of our plan, working like a charm.
Alright, and there's nobody here.
Oh, this is great. We run and get the prisoners.
Yeah.
And then we leave.
And then we
Perfect.
leave.
And the
So
iris
just-
also opens.
The iris
so-
is still open.
So quick check. We're all disguised as Lanty.
Well,
Yeah.
so you haven't finished. So this is what we needed to talk about. You haven't
Okay.
finished like finalizing docking procedures. Your ship is like lowering down to the ground.
Okay,
What
okay.
are you guys currently doing about being disguised or not disguised? Disguised as anything.
Yeah.
Or nothing at all.
So
In a
I'm
box,
definitely
out of box.
I'm definitely
As a
activating the
prisoner.
hollow skin to
Okay.
appear as human, as Lanty.
Okay, you're
For
activating
sure,
a
for
hollow
sure.
skin. All right. Are you wearing Aslanti armor?
I'm
Luna?
wearing ceremonial troop.
Okay, wearing
plate,
ceremonial
right?
troop plates. All right. Okay.
I got the
Which is
same setup.
Horrible for me.
You have the
Yeah.
same setup, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
You're wearing Aslanti gear. You have a hollow skin. Are you using? Or is anybody using a serum of appearance change?
That doesn't do anything.
Those don't help us at all, it turns out.
I think the real benefit there is doing a quick change disguise.
Yeah.
I think if we
Okay.
go in with one disguise, we can switch it for later. What's up?
Those still don't help for that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Do they
Doesn't
not?
do anything.
Because we're still all races that they hate.
Yeah.
I see what
so
you're saying.
they're not
Those
necessarily.
things.
The only person that could potentially pass as an actual Aslanti would
would
be
be
Ko.
Ko.
Oh,
He
he could
still
use it. He could
can't,
use it to
though,
remove
right?
his antenna and look more like a human.
But I don't think Lashunta could remove their antenna
Well, you don't necessarily
within the
need to
confines of their
remove your.
race, right?
You don't need to remove your antenna if you're wearing a helmet, my guy.
Sure, sure.
It's true. Or a hat of disguise.
Bum bum bum.
There it is.
But like the
Hat
serum of
of
appearance
disguise.
change only changes your appearance within the confines of your race.
Right.
Right. Lashuntas are human-like, though. So
Right.
you could get closer.
I see.
I mean, it's not like
You're
nothing.
still gonna have
none of you,
antenna, right?
none-
All
none of you
Lashunta
are
have
human.
antenna.
Yeah, you'll still have antenna, but as long, if it's under something, that's not necessarily noticeable.
Sure.
Okay, so
But if
let's
it's under
back up.
something, the rest of your body's under something. So
Sure. I mean, but your face is visible in the actual troop ceremonial plate.
Oh, are they? Your face is
Yeah.
visible? I didn't know
Yeah.
your
Do you
face
remember
was
what the
visible.
people look like? Hold on.
They always have non-see-through masks, I feel like.
Wait, so the troop ceremonial plate isn't even what the Aeon Guard are wearing, right?
That's what they were wearing on the planet, on the Condus.
The cadets.
Yeah, the cadets, yeah.
Here, I'll show you what the cadets look like.
But the
show
cadets make
players.
up most of the army, right? So there's probably cadets here.
This is what you're wearing, troop ceremonial plate.
Oh, it doesn't have a face.
Yeah. He said there weren't cadets here though.
There's not cadets here?
What was Lieutenant Sharu wearing?
Lieutenant Sharu was wearing what an Aeon guard wears. Let me go back and I can look at her
But it's-
actual.
That's the Cyclops.
It's
people.
okay
The
though,
Green
because
Power Ranger.
the hollow skin should let us disguise our race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking. Lieutenant Sharu. Oops, nope, that's not helpful. I'm gonna have to actually open the AP. Hold on. Oh wait, she might have it on here still. Let me pull her up. Royal Venture, Sharu, inventory.
And then Twick and Lisk's weapons are still an issue, right? Because glamour
I
fusion
got
seals
my
don't work.
mouth full.
I'm at least, I
Um,
have a cheek pouch, and I'm pretty good at sleight of hand.
Lieutenant Sharu was wearing an AG Trooper battle dress
Oh.
with a clear Aeon or a clear spindle Aeon stone mounted in it and a targeting computer.
Oh. Did
So
we sell
similar
that?
to the Cyclops guys, right? No,
It is
Lisk
what the
using
Cyclops
that,
guy is. Yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly what the Cyclops guy is.
Well, okay.
I don't know if you sold it or not. I don't know what you did with it.
I don't know
I think
either.
Lisk is using the clear Aeon spindle.
Oh,
Well-
yes.
No.
Oh, the armor.
Yeah, well, we're talking about the armor.
Sorry. I was thinking about the only thing useful to us in general.
Right.
You had on her you had the AG Trooper battle dress, the inevitable downfall, which was that curved dispelling carbon steel blade. The AG assault rifle, which if you remember
I have
somebody
that.
picked that up,
I have it.
and you had to roll for the Lesser Curse of the Ravenous,
Yep.
which
I
is the
have
same
it.
thing that Lisk had. She also had on her long arm rounds, a motion detection badge, the Perept's data pad, and Sharu's data pad, her own data pad.
All right.
I don't think you've sold multiple of the. I don't know. I'm not looking at your inventory, so I don't know if somebody still has the Trooper battle dress, but you could have it. The one that you guys were talking about, though, is definitely the one that doesn't have a face shield.
Right. So we could only pass as cadets, really.
Yeah.
I think that's... Well, it's not great, I guess.
Okay, so Ko, Aslanti gear, hollow skin. All right, Lisk, Luna, you have Aslanti gear and a hollow skin. Lisk and Twick, what are you guys doing?
Are we doing throwing us in a box, or are we doing not that?
Yeah, so that's what I'm curious about.
I think not that.
I think we might be better off as just being cargo peeps with hollow skins that make us look less Yosoki and more
Yes.
acceptable as Lanty race. Skitter something or other, I think. Scree something or other.
Skittermander.
A Screedreep?
Screedreep. That's it.
Yeah. I think that works.
Yeah. A couple of
Okay.
Screedreeps and a couple of Aslanti.
So you are are both of you using a hollow skin?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I
Are
am, yes.
both of you using the troop ceremonial plate?
I don't think so. I don't think we need it
Okay.
for being cargo peeps, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Lisk, are you wearing your hat?
I am wearing my hat, but I'm not. It's not like activated.
Okay. All right. I just need to know. It's
Yep. Nope. It is. It's coming with me, but I am not using it to make this disguise.
Okay. All right. You guys finish your docking procedure, and as you do, you see a guy sort of step out of this door, and he starts making his way towards the ship.
Quick, get back in the ship and shoot him. We've like a nuke on this fucking thing, right? What are we doing, boys?
Are you guys still on the ship, or are you off the ship at this point? Like, just so I'm aware.
I mean, if it's acceptable for us to leave the ship, if they weren't like, "Don't leave your ship," then yeah, we're probably off the ship.
Like, you would know that it's acceptable for you to disembark. You're in a cargo bay. There's definitely things in
Yeah.
here that are literal cargo that you'd be offloading.
All right, I think we're
all right,
off,
so-
right?
Yeah.
Say what?
I was just asking to make sure everyone's also was okay with us being off the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thumbs
You're
up.
good. Okay, so as you step off, I would like for everybody to make a perception check.
That one's not going to kill us
Right? Yet.
yet.
Okay.
It might be a slow death, but
So we have a. Let's
Nice.
see here.
Well,
big
shit,
numbers.
14.
Well, okay.
All
Mostly
right.
Big numbers.
All right. We have a 19 from Lisk, a 20 from Twick, a 22 from Ko, and a 14 from Luna. All right. Luna would be the only person not to notice this, but immediately upon disembarking the ship, you notice a few things. One, you're definitely in a docking bay, obviously. It's spacious with bright lighting and steel walls. It's currently empty. There's no other ships in it at the moment, except there are your ship right where it's at, and there's 5 empty crates that are sitting kind of in front of you that appear to be ready to receive cargo. They are 5-foot cubes, and there are how many? There's 5 of them directly in front of you. What you also notice is that each of the 4 corners, and you might see these start appearing on the map, each of these 4 corners there is what appears to be a security camera. And I'll ping them for you. There's one there, one there, one there, and one there.
Fun.
Okay.
They
Cool.
they have visibility of the outside of your ship, but based on the design of your ship, where you're currently standing, the security cameras wouldn't have a great viewing angle. Just so you're
Okay.
aware.
Cool.
Take out this guard. Got it.
So this guy's gonna
I see what you're
walk over,
pointing at.
and no, I'm not. I'm literally not pointing at anything. Trust me. He's gonna walk over, and he's just gonna kind of wave, and he as he walks up to you, he goes, hey, sorry, protocols. I apologize for that. It looks like you guys have been here several times, but we got to do what we got to do. Sorry.
Right. Well, let's get it over with.
I own Venus. Boy, you have a rather unique crew. Definitely not normal. I'm presuming all four of you are currently standing outside the ship.
Yeah. Well, desperate times, you know.
Yeah, and he'll say, quite strange, I don't really see a lot of Screed Reap used on cargo ships. Most of the time it's just Aslanti. But nevertheless. So it looks like you have some cargo to deliver here to Gulta, is that correct?
That's right.
Excellent.
Send over the manifest.
Perfect. Yeah, this doesn't quite match what I have, but these people get this wrong all the time. Hold on a second here. Let me look. You can see him kind of flipping through what he has on his data pad. And he'll say, looks like, yeah, you guys are supposed to be delivering 5,000 UPBs, a shipment of doors, as well as, this looks like some oxygen tank sensors. Is that correct?
Not quite.
Okay. Can you tell me what you have for me?
Can I, like, shoot the manifest to his data pad?
Yeah, you shoot the manifest over. What is on the manifest you give him?
Yeah, so, we'll say, well, you can see the doors were there, but, you know, as you said, they get these wrong all the time. You should have seen this one delivery I tried to make, a few months back. They had some sort of strange honeyed meat candy or something odd that they thought I was delivering. It was really bizarre. Anyways, we've got the doors like you mentioned. Some
Of course,
various
yes.
electronic cargo pieces and guards. We're here.
Guards. Man, I'm very confused. Can you remind me what's the purpose here? Why guards?
Don't ask me. I don't make the manifest. I just deliver the cargo.
Yeah, I don't have that on my list. I'm gonna have to check in with the prison warden.
Makes sense.
But beforehand, what we can do is we can go ahead and, of course, proper procedure and all. We always have to make sure we're following procedure here. I hate it too. I mean, I just like to go home to my family as well. You know, I don't want to be that guy, but I got to come on your ship and I got to, check out the cargo. It's just proper procedure here.
Sure. Yeah. Come aboard.
Okay. So he's going to follow you aboard. And we'll just say that
quickly hide all of our "We're evil spy" posters that we have hanging in the hall.
What he does is he starts looking around the ship a little bit, and he's kind of investigating the doors. He looks at the doors, and you can see him mark something off on his data pad, and then you can see he starts looking at, around for other things on the ship, and he's starting to notice that there's definitely some things that are missing. And he's going to turn around and he's going to say, "Hey, yeah, we're definitely missing the things that we were supposed to be getting here. UPBs, that's got to be number one. We were promised 5,000 UPBs. We really need them." Because we're generating some new adamantine walls for the back corridors. Why don't you guys have those?
I mean, that's really a question for here. Why don't you come up to the bridge with me and we can look through the manifest. I'll motion to the other guys.
Okay.
We need to knock this guy out somehow.
So he's gonna follow you up towards the bridge, and as he gets on the bridge, he's just like, "Wow, nice ship. Not something you see here in the Aslanti Star Empire very often for cargo carriers. But may I ask you, where did you get this thing?
It's a long story. I don't know how to further incentivize you guys to club this guy over the head.
How strong does this boy look? Like, is this a death sentence? Or can we get him?
He definitely doesn't look like a beast, if that's what you want to know. He just looks like a normal guard.
He has like a gun on him and stuff.
Okay, I'm just checking. I don't know his CR.
So I guess theater of the mind. I'm sort of ushering him so his back is turned to the rest of you guys and looking at the computer terminal.
And he's just going to kind of
pull
say
up stuff.
Okay, and he's just going to kind of say to you, look, like I said, I'm just trying to get home to my family. Listen, I understand things go missing all the time.
Yes, murder him.
I'll attack him from behind.
Do not let him go home to his family.
You have children.
Oh yeah, I got kids. Are you hitting him from behind?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to just roll attack on Solar Weapon?
Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna put us in combat, and you're just gonna get the people who are behind him are gonna get a surprise round. So we're just gonna kind of set people up here where it makes sense.
How difficult is it for you to set that bad boy to stun? Like, is that just a switch? Or...
Actually, he bought the one that can set to stun, so
it is like a switch.
Okay.
Easy.
Let me put us into combat here.
I mean, it's so much for making a plan, dude.
I mean,
12.
True.
Oh no! You get a surprise round.
You still beat me. You never rolled a 4.
Roll a 4?
Yeah.
Why is mine so much? I mean, I guess operative things.
You're operative.
I didn't get a prompt.
Yeah,
you didn't get a prompt.
He's not on the combat tracker.
You don't get to play. You're out.
I'm sorry.
Did it give you a prompt that time?
No.
No? Did you refresh your screen
No.
at any point?
You can probably roll it from the combat tracker.
Iovinus.
Combat tracker? Yep.
That's strange. I'll have to look at that.
Absolutely
Oh,
incredible, dude.
Yikes.
This is gonna go well, boys. Gonna go
It's okay.
well.
We're killing him in this first round.
We need to
Yeah.
somehow prevent him from radioing out on his turn.
Mm-hmm.
So he's actually just looking at the sort of log here, and he's on his turn. All he's going to be saying is, so yeah, like I said, I just want to go home too, and I know sometimes things just go missing, you know. So we could probably make a deal about the UPBs. It's I mean, maybe we don't need them all. Maybe I just need some. We can pretend they were. And he literally air quotes and he goes, lost.
We don't have any options here. Like we used all our money, right?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have 94.
Yeah. 94
That's
UPVs.
close.
Almost like a... No.
All right.
We'll
So
just
Luna,
kill him.
you're standing next to this guy. What are you gonna do? I'm trying to think. You probably won't have a surprise round because you won't have your. Well, I guess you could still surprise him. He's just leaning over the counter.
Well, are we doing a surprise round or are we just going from top?
We're doing a surprise. I should have just skipped him. I was just saying what he was gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But yeah, so we'll do a surprise round. He won't have an action. You guys will all have one standard action
Right.
for your surprise round. And we can presume that you were actually people were sneaking up, so you don't have to be so far back. Whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm essentially holding until after Co
Okay.
goes.
All right. List, you're up then. What are you gonna do?
Oh man, I'm second. He's wearing a communicator, yes? Of some description?
He doesn't have a helmet on. It does appear that he has some sort of attachment on his armor that you can't really tell, but that's where you think he might be able to use his communicator on. He also has this data pad in his hand, which is quite often used for communications as well.
Oh man, that's
if you want to roll
options.
If you want to roll a perception check,
I would love that, yeah, because I really want to take away however he's going to let people know that we're murdering him.
Okay, 27. You would know that his ability to radio somebody is directly related to his personal comm unit, which is the datapad that's in his hand.
Can I try to steal it from him?
Yes.
Or destroy it? Steal it would be my first choice.
Okay.
Knife in the datapad.
That's my backup.
You can attempt a disarm combat maneuver.
Oh, that sounds really hard.
It is his. It's his KAC +8.
I don't like this idea anymore.
He is flat-footed, so it's his KAC +8 -2. So keep that in mind, because it is a surprise round.
What do I roll with my BAB?
You're just gonna roll like a basic attack. So you'll roll like a melee attack against him.
Is it? Do I roll with Dex or with Strength?
Hold on. Let me pull up the right thing. Combat maneuver. I have it on that cheat sheet. Where's that cheat sheet at? Hold on. Dungeons. Player actions. Pull this up for me. Come on. Come on, player guide. It says, roll a melee attack. 1d20 plus your attack modifier. Whatever your normal attack modifier is. Against your target's KAC +8.
Can we... I don't know. My attack modifier, is it... I guess that sounds like strength, right? Unless my disarm is an operative weapon, right?
Yeah, it doesn't really specifically say here.
Well, then I no longer want to do it.
It just says... Hold on.
There's no option for sleight of hand here, is there?
That would be way better. Could I, like, disable it?
I don't... Well, you'd have to have access to it, so you'd have to get it first.
He's got a really big magnet in his pocket. Did he tell you that?
Actually, I'm just happy to see him.
Wow.
Come magnet.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Wow! Jiminy Christmas!
Thank you for that.
Oh my god.
The reference to it takes two.
Yeah.
All right, disarm. It just says, as a standard action, you can attempt one of the following combat maneuvers. For each maneuver, choose an opponent within your reach, including your weapon's reach, if applicable. So you can use your weapon, I guess. Well, your weapon would have to have the disarm.
Yeah,
it would have to have a disarm
I've got a
property.
knife and a gun, neither
So
of which are
it's
good for disarming.
Yeah, it's just going to be just a base attack then, and you make a melee attack roll against that opponent's KAC +8. So it would be just a unarmed attack.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Does Twick have any anesthetic or like knockout juice?
I mean, I got some sedatives. We know I got some sedatives.
It does say you can also use what is this called? Sunder. You deal damage to one object held in a target's hand or accessible on its body. The object must be something that can be drawn easily by the target as a move action. Damage is reduced by the amount equal to the object's hardness. So I guess I can look up personal comm unit.
Man, I'm
is it
gonna
hard?
be so bad at all of these, though. It's not trick attack. I can't
it's
do
still
any
KAC
damage.
+8. This doesn't say anything about its...
Hardness 2. AC
Okay.
5.
There you go.
6 hit points.
Oh,
So you could potentially just destroy it.
that's not bad at all.
It's not.
You'd still have to land a KAC +8 hit though.
Yeah, because it's still a combat maneuver. It's a very
Or +6,
specific
I
combat
guess.
maneuver. But you can, I
Flat-footed.
think you can, I don't think Sunder is a weapon.
No, you should be able to do it with anything. But here's the other problem, y'all. I'm just using a gun. I might not even overcome that hardness. This still feels like a waste of time for me.
Yeah.
I am just gonna move. Oh, he's already flat-footed, so flanking
He's
him doesn't
flat-footed.
even fucking do anything.
Here's-
Yep.
Great.
Knife him.
I'm gonna do so little damage. I'd rather just shoot him, I guess.
Okay. Take a
So-
shot.
All right. Okay. Sure. 27.
27 against KAC is a hit. Roll some damage.
Here it comes. Here comes my, 2 damage.
Oh man.
It's 3 damage.
3 damage.
False.
All right.
You don't
All
get
right.
your
Nope.
That's a full
One
action.
One
weapons.
standard action.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does suck. It does.
Even though
Surprise
it's
rounds kind of suck.
literally a sneak attack from the rogue. Why would he get sneak attack on that? Craziness.
All right. Twick, what are you doing?
Yeah. Is this something where I could have had my rifle out? I'm unsure.
I mean, yeah,
Is
whatever
my
you
rifle
were.
ready?
I mean, as long as you've actually perception check for me.
Sure.
We'll make this simple. It's a DC. We'll call it a DC 15 to notice what Luna was doing.
Oh yeah.
23.
Got
All
it.
right. So you would have had whatever you needed out.
Okay. In that case, I quickly load in a tier 2 serum or tier 2 sedative. Sorry,
Yes.
one of my 2 tier 2 sedatives. And
Is that a swift action?
I think I can just kind of load those as
Or
part of
were you
firing.
doing it? Were you doing it on your way? Is that what you were doing? Is that what
I
you're
mean,
saying?
I'd definitely been doing it. If I need to, I'd definitely be doing it on my way.
Okay.
Because I don't
all
want to kill this man.
Okay.
He wants to get home to his family, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
He is
Okay.
his
Got it.
loyalty.
Yeah, but he may
Are
not
you
be
gonna collect
racist.
his teeth,
Who
Alex?
knows?
Hold the callback.
So,
all right.
me
you're gonna
with
take a shot at
rifle
him?
attack, yeah.
Hey.
All
pretty
right.
good.
24 against KAC is a hit. Roll some damage.
All right, so tier 2 sedative deals an additional 2d4 non-lethal damage. So here's my non-lethal damage. 3. And here's my rifle damage.
Okay.
7.
All right. Apply damage. Apply damage. All right. And Alex, you are up.
It's Co, thank you.
All right, Ko, you're up. Ko's up. What's Ko gonna do? Ko was watching just a freaking setting of dart
Ko's-
just pass by your head.
Co's setting phasers to stun, I suppose, because we're not gonna kill this man.
Okay.
And I'm swinging the solar weapon at him.
Oof.
Oh,
All right.
14.
14 against flat-footed KAC is a hit.
Okay,
Thank
good.
God.
Roll damage.
Great.
Gee,
even
Christmas,
bother?
you do a lot of damage. All right,
14.
14 points of non-lethal damage. What is the effect of your weapon with this thing on it? What does it do? Stun? Is that what you have on it? No, you just have that you can turn it to non-lethal damage, right?
I mean, you set it to stun, and it says
And it does
the
non-lethal.
damage dealt by the solar weapon is non-lethal.
Okay. You hit him with this thing and it kind of just bounces off because, it's not dealing lethal damage. Your solar weapon just kind of like bounces off of him and he falls unconscious on the ground.
We did it.
Oh,
We
man.
killed him.
One obstacle down, guy.
Whoops. He falls unconscious. And let me take us out of combat.
You want to hit him with another sedative?
I can make lots now.
Well, I got rope.
All right, what's this guy wearing? Can I take his stuff and
Unconscious.
dress as him?
Yes, that is a great plan.
let me
Good
pull up what he
idea.
has. Give me a second. He has. Ooh, okay. There's no way that's right.
No, tell us what's he got.
It says
level
nothing.
16
So if you want if you want to go with that, we can go
never
with
mind. That's not right.
that.
I can't
All right.
No.
He's clearly got clothes on. I mean, I can't.
Man,
He was
has
actually.
Got clothes. He's
He
got
has-
family.
ceremonial officer plate
Okay.
with infrared sensors on it.
Okay.
He has a
Oh.
pulsecaster pistol battery with a pulsecaster pistol with a battery with 20 charges and a standard tacklash.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I think I do a quick wardrobe change.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
You're
good idea.
taking the armor. Who's taking the weapons?
Someone who uses batteries, which I think is just Luna, if you want that battery.
I mean, it might be good for Lisk to have a
I mean, it was what?
energy pistol.
It's a pulsecaster pistol?
Mm-hmm.
I already got one.
Oh, you have
Oh.
one.
I've had one for a while. It's just not. It's not an operative weapon. So
It's not.
no. Why would
I
operatives
thought
get
all
anything
pistols were an
good?
operative
Caleb?
weapon.
No. No,
That's
you
wild.
fool, you clown.
Oh man, this helped my AC situation a lot. I'm not proficient because it's a 6.8. Wow.
I also already have a pulse caster pistol, so I don't know who wants it.
Literally, just take the battery out of it,
Yeah.
and we'll sell the pistol itself.
Yep.
Can I hack this data? Can I look at this data pad?
Yeah,
And
I
see
wanna
if there's
know this-
anything that needs hacking.
I want to know what this guy's name is and stuff, so I can socially engineer being him.
Yeah.
You already know his name. He told you his name. It's Iovinus. Iovinus.
The good news is it seems
Um,
like it's really easy to impersonate him. Just don't show up about your fucking family.
I
We
tweak
get
my holoskin programming so I can look like him.
Okay. You cannot. Holoskins do not let you look exactly like someone. I'm pretty sure the keywords there.
Is
Let
that
me make
right?
sure. I think it says specifically you cannot.
Well, goodness.
I don't think so.
Oh
It
no, I'm thinking of the spell disguise self.
Mm-hmm.
And the serums of appearance change.
Well,
Yeah.
They also can do
yeah.
that.
Okay, so you can look pretty convincingly like him. I will.
Depending on my role, right?
Yeah.
It'll need a disguise check.
Um,
I can help with it too.
So I think it's going to give you a bonus. We'll just say it's going to give you a flat bonus of probably a +2.
Yep.
Let me figure out how to add that to you. Okay. We'll say -2. All right. So what are you doing with him? I guess.
I'm taking a small vial of his blood.
Jiminy Christmas.
Great plan. Yes. Yes. Let's go. It's all coming
mentioned,
together,
and
boys.
I like it as a plan.
Yeah.
All right. You put a needle in his skin and you
I'm a doctor.
extract.
That can do
Can we
this.
get
It's a
4
doctor.
vials? And then we all wear a vial of his blood on us.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's a lot of blood.
Literally, I just smear it on our faces.
Oh no.
I mean, we can tie him up and store him in
Tie him up, gag him,
the quietest place we have in the ship.
Yeah,
put him in a closet.
for sure.
Okay. So you tie him up. Who's looking at the data pad?
Lisk was.
Okay. It's unlocked because he currently has it open.
You
Sweet.
clown.
You notice a couple things on it. You notice that he just has the actual cargo manifest that you were supposed to be bringing, based on what he said. 5,000 UPBs. You were supposed to be bringing the doors, as well as you were supposed to be bringing some materials for what does it specifically say? Food and volatile chemicals.
Okay.
You clearly don't have a couple of those, but you have at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
You'll also notice, as you're sort of reading on there, that what he normally does, his normal routine, he has what almost looks like a timer on there where he's supposed to be checking in with the security station every hour on the hour, and it looks like it has just reset. Like he may have just come directly from there.
Great. That
Okay,
is
so we have an hour
very
ish.
lucky for us.
Yeah.
What's his desktop wallpaper?
Worst
though?
case, I can run in there.
It's
family.
anime titties, isn't it?
It's his family, isn't it?
0-2.
Of course it's his family, Alex.
His family.
I'm glad he's dead.
I should have made him Vin
He's not
Diesel,
dead.
carrying a
Right.
Corona.
He's
Yeah.
not dead yet.
All right, so he's
Fucking
tied up.
vent him.
Did you put another sedative in him, or are you just gonna like...
I mean, he's unconscious. Whatever.
I guess he is unconscious. He's fine. Okay. All right. You have an unconscious man in your ship.
We tie him
Cool.
up, though. We do tie him up.
Yes,
yeah.
he is tied up.
You have an unconscious, tied up, gagged man on your ship.
Yeah.
Just
kidding.
the way
And
I
we
like
lock
it.
him in.
Yes.
And we'll lock him in one of the rooms.
Yes.
You lock
And
him
then
in one of
we-
the rooms.
Vent him into space.
Oh, gee. Wow. Brutal.
Destroy all the evidence.
Okay. What do you do?
All right, we head back
We
out.
go free the. I pushed
Yeah.
the free prisoners button
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
iPad.
Yeah. It is midnight for Jake. Just
Yes.
Yep.
throwing
Yeah.
that out there. Okay.
Yep. I have a really just the. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
We're gonna head back out.
We're just headed in, right? Yeah.
Okay.
There are these security cameras. Maybe we should fiddle with this one in the corner over here.
Luna, as you sort of step out from that area, you'll notice this docking bay is rather large. There's a whole bunch of boxes. The empty boxes in front of you are the ones that were supposed to be receiving the Relic's cargo. You do notice that the back cameras aren't necessarily pointed at your ship, but both of the front cameras can currently see you, and it appears that they can also see the door. Actually, you can't see the cameras, so everybody else that's walking out, because you didn't roll a high enough perception check, everybody else would notice that they can't see, just the front two security cameras can see both Luna and the door.
Okay. Here's what I think we do then. These boxes are awaiting cargo, right? So if we can just take them, we can still do the loading the Yosoki in a box plan.
Yeah, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Carry them in.
Yes. So I think we do a little bit of both, right? We have one box that is doors, and we say, here are definitely real doors. And we give them to someone. I don't know what comes next. But then we have another one that's like, ooh, these are dangerous chemicals. Don't open this. You'll notice it's the weight of 2 Yosoki. That's a weird coincidence. Don't know why I brought it up. Definitely chemicals.
Definitely not that.
Yeah, don't open. Do not open. Very scary.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
I'll come out and wheel a couple of these crates back.
Okay. You wheel the crates back.
And we'll put doors in one.
Okay. You put doors in one.
And we'll put Yosoki's in the other.
Both Yosoki's. Let me make sure that it can fit.
So...
It says the empty cargo crates are wheeled 5-foot cubes that a medium or smaller creature can easily fit into.
Did you guys show me how to open the door? Or was that just Twick?
It's just Twick and List.
Oh, yeah.
I did give you a vial of Aslanti blood.
Yeah,
Who
which
knows?
maybe
Maybe
will
that'll
work.
out.
I think only one of you can fit into it. I don't think you can both fit into it.
So
I mean, there are 5 crates, so if you wanted to do multiple, you could.
Yeah, we could.
You can't fit in one.
Yes. Well, we can put Twick in one, and then we can make it look like I'm forcing Lisk to push the other one because he's a dirty screed reap.
Yeah.
They're not that upset about screed reaps.
Okay.
That way, Lisk can do the door if the
I was gonna say, yeah.
if the blood doesn't work, which is probably not going to.
Yeah.
No.
Seems unlikely.
Work. It's worth a shot, though.
Okay, so I am in a.
You are in box.
I'm directing. I'm not pushing any crates. So you guys are
I am.
And Lisk are I'm in charge here.
Okay. As you walk up to the door, nothing happens. But this door doesn't appear like it has a sensor on it. Instead, there is a key card next to it.
Did he not have a key card?
We have a key card.
Oh, right.
So
did he not have a key card though?
Yeah, did he not?
We'll beep.
Did we abandon the sabotage around ship plan?
Well, it turns out we can just kill the first guy who comes look at our ship, so it doesn't fucking matter.
It was a good plan, though. Good idea.
Yeah.
You are currently. You look like him, correct, Luna?
Yes.
Okay. You hear the door just go, and then, and it unlocks and immediately opens.
They were watching.
We did it. We're in.
And as you step in, there is what appears to be an Aeon guard standing directly in front of you. And she just lifts up her hand and waves at you, and then just continues. She's kind of like walking around. So she's just standing next to this door.
We're in, baby.
Again, as you step in the room, perception checks from everybody.
I'm gonna not roll that because I'm in a crate.
Well, yeah, you can't. You actually cannot roll
there
that.
could be a hole in it.
See what I get. That's better.
There
23.
All right, Luna, you are the only person to notice, but there are what appear to be 2 security cameras, one in this corner and one in this corner, both of which are currently aimed at the hallway, so they can see all 4 of you. And you guys kind of walk in this room. It is like a stark, empty corridor. from the door to the south, an airlock door appears to be standing directly behind this Aeon guard.
Okay.
And there appears to be a long hallway with another sort of turn towards the end. There's, again, the 2 security cameras, one in the southwest corner of the hall and one in the southeast corner of the hall.
All right. So I'll just sort of guide us this way.
Okay. Cool. As you're around this corner, you see again this this camera in the corner is kind of watching you, and there is a door directly in front of you.
Okay. Does it have a
perception check?
Thing on it? Is it a special door? 22.
22. You can see that it appears to have no lock on it.
Interesting. Is it another keycard lock?
Not even a keycard lock.
It's just literally
It's just a door.
It is just a door.
We can just open this door.
This is the trickiest puzzle we've done so far.
You open the door and you walk into what appears to be a lobby of sorts. A few rows of uncomfortable-looking chairs line some of the cold metal walls of this oddly shaped room. A large wall sort of extends over to an opening to your left, and you can kind of see there must be something around the corner, but that's about all you have.
Okay.
And as you step around that corner, you see a man sitting behind a large steel desk. It's got a huge screen on it, and as you sort of like you're walking sort of past the door, he looks up, he looks at you, and then he looks right back down at the screen.
That lazy Americans. Oh no, they're French.
That's true.
I forgot.
He looks back up again, and he waves you in.
All right, I will come in with them. With the crates. Is it delivery we were waiting for?
Yes! We're in the skies!
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
And this man will look up and he will be kind of like confused for a second, and he'll say, "A delivery? Where is... Sure, yes. We were expecting a delivery, but Iovinus usually does not come this way. Wait, you are an Iovinus. Why did I say that? You don't usually come this way. What are you doing here?"
Well, the directions from the corporate were to bring the cargo directly to the worksite, and so we need to get through.
Now I feel like I need to change this guy's accent to French.
You started
You did start. You can end it anytime.
I'm going to
you want.
need the paperwork before we are allowed you to pass. If you could pass that over, please. Standard procedure.
Let's see. We have his data pads, so.
Beep boop boop beep boop. We
Okay.
did it.
However, paperwork is transferred in this crazy universe.
You just hand him the data pad.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, and he'll just say, please give me a few seconds to analyze what is on the pad.
Take all the time you need.
And he's going to turn, he's going to look down, and he's going to start analyzing, and we are going to leave it for next time
Perfect.
to see
That's
how he
perfect.
responds to you.
See how fast we die after he
We could
says,
just
"Oh,
murder
I know where
him."
I want-"
Monsieur, were there any cameras in this room?
Perception check, we can do that real quick before we
Sure.
go.
Yeah, because that is actually really important.
I'll be aboard.
Man.
22.
22 from Luna. Yeah, so you notice there is one camera,
Yeah,
and it is
that's what I thought.
directly over his desk,
Right.
looking right at him.
There goes the murder play.
Did we? I mean, do we know we're going the right way?
No.
Know where we're going at all?
No.
We,
We are walking
based on
blindly.
our scan, this seems
Yeah.
to be the
This
right
is
way.
kind of the right way.
Yeah.
But they just had us
Um,
land at one of the things. There's no way to tell if that was actually on the Cellblock J side.
Well,
There was like a
It-
huge dome here, right? And then this was
Yeah.
a dome, and then there was like a dome with more domes
Yes.
over here.
the good news is, if we come through here and we realize it's the wrong way, we just go back and it's like, stupid.
This confounded place, I am not used to traveling.
gonna have to work on my
There's
French accent.
too many doors and
What we were saying was that
passageways.
Just when I get home to my family, so I'm not paying attention.
Oh my gosh.
I just think about my family so
I'm
much.
thinking about my
No.
children and how much I want to get back home to them.
The holidays are
So,
right
it
around
is
the
very-
corner.
Very, very important to get home to them. Oh man! All right. Well, we're gonna leave it right there. Hopefully, he has a good response for you. This is gonna give me time to plan how to react based on the approach you've taken, because it's different than the 14 different plans I thought you might take. So
Oh
there's
boy.
that.
You didn't
not-
expect us to kill the first guy we met.
That is very on brand.
Yeah, I expected that. Well, it's not specifically that, but there are like parts of this, yes, parts of this,
Sure.
definitely not.
Sure.
So, I got to do a little more reading to make sure we're kind of spot on with what we're supposed to be doing here. But I'm excited.
Sorry to all the French people listening, by the way.
Yeah, I'm
It's-
sure we
it's
have
not
a
gonna
huge
be
French
good.
audience. I'm sure we've got so many.
You never know.
Oh man!
Look, it's not our fault your people are inherently evil.
Oh no.
Oh my
Wow! Wow!
Oh,
Oh my gosh! On that note, we're gonna catch you next time. See you guys.
bye.
Oh my god.